Stop by for the Nintenbyte. You got the Triforce and it feels right. Like Bowser, you can listen all night, singing peaches until the sun lights. Summer shoots her beam so bright. Master Hand always brings a fight. Catch 'em all and use that fire blast. Put the soul back to visit your past. Welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintenbyte Podcast. I am one of your hosts as always, Mr. Nintendo Prime. We're going to go around the room and introduce everyone. We got a killer show for you guys today. You guys know we're continuing our launch retrospective, of course, heading all the way into our April 2nd Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. We have some news on Nintendo Switch 2 this week. A little bit of rumors tossed in as well. Maybe even a new launch game. So that's pretty exciting. Beyond all of that, of course, we'll be talking about some other stuff. I don't even remember what the topics are off the top of my head. So you know what? That's okay. Let's go ahead and introduce our special guest this week, Sky Swords Alyssa, for the very first time. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. You want to
doing all right?
Want to let the people know like who you are, what you got going on?
I stream games on YouTube. I obviously really like Zelda.
No, I couldn't tell.
I've done a lot of the Zelda games on stream already, but right now I'm focusing a lot on Tomb Raider. I've been on a Tomb Raider kick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You playing the originals or the new line?
So I played like a couple of like the older ones when I was younger, and I actually revisited one of them. It was Underworld. So I had played that on PC recently again. And I just finished Rise, and now I'm on Shadow, and it's scary. Is that supposed to be scary?
Great game.
Great games though.
Yeah, I love it. I'm having fun, but there's moments I'm just like, you can ask the guy. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
That's all right. At least you're having fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get everyone else. We got Eric Moore back as always.
Hell.
There we go. We got the Game Bird. Classic.
All right. The Birdman is back. Happy to be here.
He's ready to reclaim his
Nintendo. That's right.
Yes, there he
The
is.
throne is mine.
We got Thunderstash Gaming.
What's up? What are we, 21 days away? Is that?
Oh, baby. 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Dude, 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks at this time, we are doing a podcast about the damn thing on the day of. It's awesome. I can't wait. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I'm so excited for that day. It's gonna be a long day. I'm probably gonna be exhausted by the time the podcast comes along. And you know what? I'm not gonna care. We're gonna pop the caffeine pills and we're gonna be rocking.
Exactly. That's my plan.
Yeah. Sneak. I keep telling myself I'm gonna sneak a nap in, but I'm a news channel. I got a feeling the news is gonna be popping all day. So I don't even know. I don't even think I'm gonna get to sleep. That's all right. I'll try to get a good night's sleep the night before. Probably won't. All right. Let's go ahead and get to our topic roulette. There's not much of a topic roulette because we know what Stash's topic it is every week right now. Stash, what are we doing for our first topic?
So it's going to be the DS and the Nintendo Wii. So we're going to be looking back at that history. And there is a bonus slide this week. I'm not going to say anything else about it, but I think everyone will enjoy it. It's good comedy, I would say.
Good comedy. All right, let's have Eric go second, buddy. What topic do you want this week?
Oh boy, let me get back to it. I was actually doing the research for seeing if I could come up with dealer's choice. So you know what? Why not? Let's just do it.
He's taking the dealer's choice.
Why? I don't know.
All right, hey, that's the first time
Living on the edge. Eric's gone hardcore.
Yeah. Dude, the first time he's ever taken the dealer's choice. Usually Stash takes it, but see, Stash has a guaranteed topic now every week until the second. So, you know, someone else got to take dealer's choice. Eric's stepping up this week. We don't always have a dealer's choice, but you know, news hasn't been too crazy over the last week. All right, well, Game Bird. What one do you want?
I'm gonna take a special topic because there are a couple legendary developers who have been with Nintendo for a long, long time, but they're getting up there in age. So this very well could be the last generation that some of these iconic people, these Nintendo faces that we've all come to grow to know and love, might be the last time they work at Nintendo. and that's a pretty big deal. So I want to talk about that.
Oh, baby. What a shocker. He took the topic that he came up with.
That's right. That's what I do.
That's what I do. And what a surprise. The Switch 2 guy is stuck with the Switch 2 topic. We'll be talking about lots of Switch 2 stuff again. Again, we have some news. We have some SEC filings. We have some rumors. And again, as I said, we might know what a launch game is now that we didn't previously know before this last week. So that's really exciting. In fact, I get to play a clip for that one. I love the man that we're going to be playing the clip for. So I'm really excited about it. That being said, let's go ahead and get into our first topic, Stash. What are we doing, buddy?
Okay, let me go ahead and send this over to you guys. If you can pull it up for me.
Sure,
And
Tim, buddy.
here you go. All right, so here we are. This is week 4. And as we do every week, I'm going to take you through this real quick. So first week, we discussed. And always, we got to stop there and pay homage to the one of the best quotes of all time. First week, we discussed the Nintendo launch lineup. 1985, the year Nintendo came out. That was the year I came out. Then we got the Game Boy. The future is literally in your hands.
A year before I came out.
That was my launch date.
Your launch window.
Yeah. And again, it is kind of fun to look at these games because one thing we talked about at the beginning is all the similarities we're going to see with each launch, right? And that's kind of what we're doing is not only is this like nostalgia, but it's also, hey, what can we glean from everything Nintendo's done as far as launch games and launch window? Can that give us a good idea of what we're going to get for Switch 2? So keep that in mind as we go through these games, some of the things you see, some of the sports titles, all that kind of stuff. So again, tennis here, baseball. We got baseball. We see a lot of similarities as we go through all of these launch windows and launch games. Mr. Yamauchi, again, this was the longest tenured Nintendo president. Yes. Yep. Hiroshi Yamauchi, shrewd businessman. He's known for being extremely shrewd. There's actually a story. I don't know how true it is. Nate, you might know about this, about the fist fight that happened at a round table.
Oh,
you know about that? Yeah, dude, that's badass. I love that. But yeah, a lot.
Anyone, man.
I know. I love that, man. Super Nintendo. Here's some of the games again. Super Scope 6 again. That's on my bucket list. I need to play that. I need to play. Was Yoshi's Safari? Gotta play that game. I still need to do that. Virtual Boy, the entire launch library, N64. A lot of great memories here. The classic quote from Mr. Iwata that rings so true today. GBA, a lot of great games. First time we got a Sonic game on a Nintendo console / handheld was Sonic Advance right here. But you always see a lot of similarities. Bomberman here, Mortal Kombat, Cruisin', Advance Wars. And I'm mentioning these games because we're going to see some more of that. GameCube, Tony Hawk, Super Monkey Ball. Again, mentioning these because we're going to see some more. Sonic, as always there. 007, SSX, Monkey Ball, Bomberman again. And then here we go. We got Scrooge McDuck launching over now to the Wii and the DS. And here's our new quote for the week. Who would like to read this great quote from Mr. Miyamoto?
I could take this beast.
Let's do it.
All right. Shigeru Miyamoto said, I think that inside every adult is the heart of a child. We just gradually convince ourselves that we have to act more like adults.
He's got a lot of great quotes. I feel like this one's not as known. It's not as out there. And this was a long time ago when he said that. But as we've grown, right, from kids to adults, like the ESRB rating, KA, kids to adults, classic. It's true, though, you know? Like, I think as we become adults, we kind of look back on this, and a lot of people do convince themselves that they just have to act like adults, right? This is literally why I say at the end of all my videos that you're never too old to play video games. Because when I was a kid, everyone said, oh, he'll eventually grow out of it, you know? He's not going to play him as an adult. Certainly he'll grow out of it one day. And I always knew I wouldn't. And I took exception to people saying that. So that's why I like this quote a lot. Any thoughts, guys?
Great quote.
I totally agree.
From a
I
great
love
man.
that you end all your videos with that. With what you say. You're never too old. I'm like, yes.
The guy's a legend, man. Like the thing is like he was an adult making the games. Like he knew. It's like, hey, man, like video games aren't just this thing for kids. It might feel that way now because they're newer and fresher, and people didn't grow up with them. But man, like I think this applies to even like obviously more than just video games, like just life in general. I remember not just video games, like just being out with my kids at the stores and people asking, hey man, when are you going to grow up? I'm like, I already have. Hey man, when are you going to remember what it was like to have fun in your life?
Yep.
you don't have to let go of some of that childhood fun stuff. I still I went snow tubing as an example this winter with my kids. Like, dude, it's fun. I did that stuff as a kid. I'm still doing it as an adult. It's okay to be fun. Like, yeah, we convince ourselves we have to be more adult-like because there are certain things we have to be, right?
Yeah.
We have more responsibilities and stuff, or people that rely on us. That's fine, but that doesn't mean you have to let go of all the things that we enjoy growing up. Like that doesn't even make sense. Why would we want to enjoy life less as we get older?
Exactly. It should be the other way around.
Absolutely.
Miyamoto, no pun intended, was ahead of the game with this quote. And definitely, I know for us, a lot of us are in the same age range. There was a lot more stigmas around like video games and them being bad for you, bad for your mind, it being immature. I knew kids that would hide their consoles when friends came over because they didn't want them to think they were lame for playing video games. But now it's like, it's normal. And we now have studies that show like, oh, there's actual benefits. It's good for your brain development and your hand-eye coordination and your reflex, your quick responses to things. So
troubleshooting, the amount of troubleshooting I learned from playing video games, especially almost mainly the games that this guy made with The Legend of Zelda, like trying to solve puzzles as a kid when you don't know how to read yet. I mean, that's how the first Zelda was, and Zelda 2. There's so many benefits from playing video games, all the ones that you mentioned. Certainly I would have never have read the amount of text that I did if it was not for video games. Because outside of games, I mean, all I was reading was the required reading in school. And back then, like you had to read. You couldn't get on the internet and get the Cliff Notes because the internet didn't necessarily exist yet. So you actually had to read.
Can I ask GPT to summarize it for you?
Yeah. So all I was reading was really what Nintendo Power, EGM, Game Pro magazine, Dreamcast magazine back in the day, stuff like that. That's all I was reading. That and video games. So I credit my reading ability to Nintendo games.
Oh yeah,
great stuff.
All right, guys. So we're gonna jump in here to the DS. Or actually, was it? I think I have the Wii set up first. Let's see. Yeah, the Wii. Here we go. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is, do we all remember the E3?
When he pulled it out of his pocket?
Yeah, dude. So good. Iconic, right?
Yeah.
I had to put that picture in there with the Wii box because I'm like, dude, this is so classic, man. back when all the Nintendo executives would somehow pull the console or handheld out of their jacket pocket.
Yep. And then he pulled the home console out. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah. And this is back when it was, I think this picture is from when it was still going by the Nintendo Revolution. Because this is not the launch Wii.
Right.
Yeah, I think this was probably, if I recall, this was E3 2005. Does that sound right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so here's our launch titles. And I want to get your guys' thoughts again on what games here that you played. I think we all know which game was the biggest game, obviously, that took center stage, so to speak. The game in the center. I'm wearing the shirt today, the Twilight Princess shirt, because of it. What are your memories playing this? Did you play it on the Wii or did you play it on the GameCube? Let me ask you guys that first.
Both. Duh. Like, look, here's the thing. I played it on Wii. Oh, look, I didn't get a Wii right when it came out because good luck getting a Wii when it came out. But obviously, I played it first over then on GameCube because I already had a GameCube. And it was, it was a great time. It was originally announced as a GameCube game. Then when I did get the Wii and get to play it on Wii, I instantly felt really weird because they reversed the world. So, like, Link's now right-handed instead of left-handed. Everything's on the opposite side that it was. So it felt very strange at first until I got to shoot the bow. As soon as I point and click, I'm like, oh, boy. You guys are in trouble. I'm using the bow the whole game, baby. Look out. Then I just said I didn't even care anymore. Because, like, yeah, the little the waggle, you can get through the whole game just doing this. You can literally just defeat every enemy just doing this the whole time. You really can. But it's a lot more fun to point and click the bow and take their asses out. So I ended up having a really damn good time with it on Wii. It sold the best on Wii, obviously, with it being one of Nintendo's, at the time, the number one selling console for them. Now number two selling home console. It was a really big deal for me. It was the reason I even wanted a Wii, even though I had GameCube, because like everyone was just talking about the Wii version, as I'm just sitting over here playing the GameCube version. It's probably how it must have felt for people who bought the Wii U version of Breath of the Wild, because everyone's playing it.
Yeah,
that's probably how it felt. But yeah, no, absolutely incredible game. I have other things to say about the other games, but anyone else want to talk about Twilight Princess? I know Sky Sword Alyssa.
Of course I do. It's my favorite. Well, I actually didn't get it at launch. I was 8 years old when the Wii came out. I got it for Christmas. I'm sure I don't know if we got it that year for Christmas or the year after. So it was either 8 or 9. But we played the crap out of Wii Sports. I had me and my younger sister. She's 2 years younger than me, and then we even got like my mom and dad involved. They're in like their 60s now, but like, I remember bowling. Bowling was my shit. I was like, I wanted to play bowling all the time. I'm like, I'm gonna wreck you guys in bowling. And then, you take the boat back and you throw the ball, and everybody goes. The Mii's really made the Wii, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did get I tangented off of Twilight Princess, but I did end up getting Twilight Princess like the year after. It was kind of funny because I knew what Zelda was, but I kind of had forgotten what it was. My dad had been playing like Ocarina of Time on the N64 and I was only 4 years old, and all I could remember was boy in green clothes, beautiful forest area, and then the end fight with Ganondorf. I'm like, that's all I remember. And we weren't really like on the internet or anything at that point. So my dad's like, he didn't know what it was anymore either. And I saw that game at the store and I was just like, I think this is like what you played. And my dad's like, you know what? I think you're right. So I had the original DS and then I ended up getting a DS Lite. I had a friend that didn't have a DS. So I was like, well, I don't need my old DS anymore. So I actually sold my friend my DS so I could go buy Twilight Princess.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
So I was stuck in Faron Woods for the longest time. Little 9-year-old Alyssa couldn't figure it out. And then when she finally did and Hyrule was mine, I was like, this is this is awesome. Like I love wolves, so it was just it's a perfect Zelda game for me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this, man, I will never forget launch day of the Wii. It's my most memorable launch of my whole life, and I don't know if anything will change that. So my first time camping out for a console, it was with a new friend of mine that I had met through another friend, and we both realized we both love Nintendo. We both were planning on camping out to get this to play Twilight Princess day one. I had work the next day. I was working at Costco at the time. I wake up at 5 in the morning. I call into Costco. I plugged my nose. I just met this guy. I staying the night at his place. Plugged my nose. And I'm like, hello, I can't come into work like that. And then I look over, I get off the phone. I look over at this, what became my really good buddy. It's just like, what the hell was that, dude? I'm like, it worked. But we went and we waited in line, third in line. I needed to grab cash from the ATM. It ate my debit card and had a full-blown panic attack. Long story short, Zelda being my favorite series of all time, just like the build up back then leading up to this game. And like you said, Nate, like the waggle controls, they're not good. They're like, it would have been better with button inputs because it wasn't fully fleshed out and worked out. But still leading up to this release, like the concept of a console that is going to have motion controls and the potential for what that could mean for shooters or sword movement or any other creative ways that they were going to use it. Just my hype for this game was next level. And I will say, I think it's one of, if not the sleekest looking consoles still to this day. It is a nice looking console.
It's the blue light.
It's the blue light and the silver stand.
Yeah, like that makes it look really, really nice. Like very future.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Eric, what memories do you have of the Wii?
I didn't play much for Zelda. Whenever Nate had to go to the bathroom, that's when I played Zelda. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. But as for like the Wii itself, yeah, like Alyssa said, I played the ever living crap out of Wii Sports and things like that. My sister played a lot more of the Wii than I did. But it was still definitely different type of console than anything we've ever seen before. And, kudos to Nintendo for going out and on a limb and trying something new, and it worked for them. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I didn't play a ton of it just because, like I said, my sister was probably hogging it, but it's all good. She's got to have her gaming system too. So
yeah, like I mean, the Wii was the interesting thing about Wii was it was the first system that, well, like every console was always like the family console growing up. This is one the actual family played. Like my parents would play it too. Like everyone played it. Which that was what was so shocking to me, because otherwise it was always just I'm playing it, the kids are playing it. Or like my dad was playing the NES, but then after the SNES and up, it was always just the kids are playing it, nobody else. But everyone was playing Wii. My grandma was playing it, everyone.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, Twilight Princess was awesome. But like Wii Sports, I mean, 80 million that thing went on the sell. Granted, it was a pack-in, but everyone knows what Wii Sports is. Nintendo Switch Sports is a sequel. Still today, that's sold 15 million plus. Like it's massive. And look, Wii Sports, I tell you, okay, this is the first Nintendo home console to come out when I was an adult. So I was quickly 21. Wii Sports bowling leagues were at the bar, baby. Dude, we had traveling Wii Sports bowling leagues at the bar, like cash money league.
Awesome.
I can vouch that was a thing.
That was a different time, man. That was a time when the
shit
internet was littered with photos of broken TVs, broken remotes. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
But Wii Sports was the best proof of concept for the Wii and what the Wii does. And you're right, like my family didn't touch games at all. Like they played with me when I was a kid on Super Nintendo and stuff like that, but they never touched them on their own. With Wii Sports, it was like, hey, can I play that sports game on your Nintendo? It's like, hell yeah. But yeah, it was just such a cool time, and I feel like the Wii gets a bad rap these days, and I don't think it's fair. I know there was a lot of shovelware on the console, but there's a lot of really incredible gems on this system. And even here in this launch window, like Trauma Center Second Opinion, I loved that game. Trauma Center is awesome. You know, it's like Operation but with motion controls and
Exactly.
like a superly over dramatic anime story. Phenomenal game. We also got Monkey Ball with the motion controls and controlling the arena with your Wiimote was so much fun. But you know, and those are just a couple, but the console had a really special life cycle, in my opinion.
Yeah, when I look at the launch lineup, I didn't actually play a lot of it. Twilight Princess, Wii Sports, Super Monkey Ball, Banana Blitz, and Red Steel was.
Red Steel. That's right.
I was very disappointed in the game, but Red Steel 2 was amazing. I'm shocked we even got a Red Steel 2 because they got it right with that game. But
that was with the Motion Plus, right? They added when Red Steel 2 came out. That's right.
Yeah, and I played Ultimate Alliance, but I think I played that on the 360, not the Wii. So, but yeah, like otherwise, I didn't really play any of the rest of these launch games. But this was a time like I just became an adult, so like my money's a little limited. I have my own, but I can't buy everything. So,
Well, I'll give you guys some of my thoughts here on the Wii. This was the first console, or not the first. This was the second console. I meant to show you guys some pictures. I have pictures, like actual printed pictures from the GameCube launch. Maybe what I'll do is I'll show them next week. But my girlfriend from high school made me a nice, what do you got? Like a scrapbook photo album. I still have it because there's so many great pictures in there. And we have a ton of GameCube launch pictures. So I got to show you guys that. You're going to see me with the bleach blonde hair again. So hopefully you enjoy that. So we camped out at Best Buy from Friday to Sunday. It was a ton of fun. It was a large group of us. And we were the first ones in line, naturally. We had the tent. We had an old mattress set up. Brought the projector. Played Melee on the wall at Best Buy. This is where we had the Sharpie and people were coming up to us, asking to get a number on their hand so they could leave line, of course, to go to the bathroom and stuff like that. At the time, like you mentioned, Nate, you said you were 21. So yeah, I was 22. And we took my friend Matt's mom's van for the weekend. And you open up the back hatch of the van, and I kid you not, we had a full bar back there. And we had Thirstbuster cups. Do you guys have Circle K where you live? Have you guys heard of it? It's like 7-Eleven, yep. Right? So we made sure to get the cups that aren't clear, so you can't see what's in there. But we got Thirstbuster cups, and we're literally just mixing drinks, just bullshitting with everyone, playing video games for 2.5 days, because it came out on Sunday morning, and it was so much fun. I that might be the fondest memory for me of the Wii, was camping out for that long, because that's a long time. You guys know it is, but a great time, fond memories. In Wii Sports, as you guys mentioned as well, really it changed everything. Everybody was playing it. Your parents are playing it, your grandparents. I remember reading articles, I'm sure you guys did too, of Nintendo Wii's being in retirement homes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it was cool because it's they're kind of touching stories to hear that it got the older folk excited to stand up and actually do activities, right? And play the bowling and play the baseball. Obviously the bowling was the big one, right? I don't think they were doing a Wii boxing in the retirement home. If they are, more power to them. But bowling was the huge one, right? And I think we can all say that we had a great time playing the bowling. I do remember this was the time where Nate, Nate and Eric, you could probably vouch for this as well. This was during the time where a lot of your local bars had Hold'em tournaments, right? Did you guys?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
like we played in Hold'em tournaments all the time because like we played cards our whole life. Our family has been playing cards since they were in Italy, like going back generations. So we always play cards. And so when bars started doing this, like we wanted to go there and legit compete. And again, you had the money that the bar gave you, and then you always had like a on the down low side pot. I don't know if you guys participated in the side pot, but we always did.
Always.
But during that time, I remember going to like play in a Hold'em, and they had like a TV set up, and they were doing Wii Sports bowling for money. And I'm like, oh shit, like I'm getting in on this. Like I'm here to play cards and I'm gonna, but as soon as I get out, I'm coming over here to go play some bowling. So yeah, it was a different time. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad you mentioned that because I totally forgot about the bar bowling leagues. Hilarious that we actually had that. But I think one thing we can say about the Wii is like it stayed true to its name, right? Like you, me, it brought everybody together. It wasn't just me playing, it was us, all of us. And I've never seen anything like that still to this day with a console. I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen this where everybody in the family played. It was a special experience. I remember everything leading up to the launch with the Nintendo Revolution. Reggie on stage playing Excite Truck. That was awesome. As far as launch games, obviously I got Zelda. It came with Wii Sports. I got Excite Truck, Monkey Ball, and Red Steel. I didn't play the rest of these games. But if you guys look at this, look how many games we have from Ubisoft, Midway, Activision, THQ, and EA. That pretty much makes up the entire launch lineup. It's just a handful of developers. But you can always count on Ubisoft. They literally had 4 games at launch. And we always joke about that, right? About Nintendo and Ubisoft and how Ubisoft is always there with a ton of games. THQ's got, a handful of shovelware here. Activision. So, anything else you guys want to mention before we get to the launch window games?
I'm good.
When did the balance board come out?
That came out with Wii Fit.
Yeah, it was with Wii
Okay.
Fit. A little bit later.
Because I played a Rayman Rabbids game, but I don't think it was that one. And it was the one that had like stuff with the balance board in it.
Yeah, that one came out like 3 years later.
Okay.
Also, did you guys have the controller down here? The classic controller.
Of course.
I did. Yep.
We have virtual.
Hilarious how it plugs in.
Needed it for virtual console.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved the virtual console. I know there's been some discussion about how people would love to see that come back. I am one of them. I would love to see it come back. I don't know about you guys.
It'll never come back.
I don't think it ever will either.
Yeah, I'm with you. When Switch came out, I made like 3 or 4 videos saying that I hope we see the return of the virtual console. But
NSO subscription service. Anyways.
Yeah, Balance Board came out in 2008.
Yep.
So
Yeah, there you go.
2 years after.
All right, let's move on to these launch window games. And it's an interesting lineup, okay? What do you guys think about this? What stands out to you with these games? Again,
I
there's
mean-
a lot of familiar faces, right?
Yeah, like Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, I played the hell out of that game, even though I think it's the weakest of the trilogy. But worked really well with obviously the motion controls and stuff. Besides that, there wasn't a whole lot of these games that I touched much out of. I mean, Resident Evil 4, I did eventually play, but it was years later, even though I already played it on GameCube. Obviously, bringing it back was pretty cool. And then I played Paper Mario, and I think that's it. I don't think I played any of the rest of these. Yeah, no, I didn't even play Mario Strikers Charged, which actually to this day surprises me. I did not play that one.
You didn't miss much. I didn't like it anywhere near as much as the one on GameCube.
Okay, so I skipped the bad one. Got it.
At least in my opinion.
It's better than the Switch one. I think.
Well, damn. Look at that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I haven't played enough of the Switch one to really. So yeah, I'd probably. If I didn't play it enough, that probably means
Oh
it
wait,
wasn't as
sorry.
good.
I forgot we play. My bad.
Oh yeah.
We had that as a family. We like to play, baby. We play. Let's go.
That's right.
That came with the controller, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, there's actually a handful of games in here that I not only played but thoroughly enjoyed. Obviously, Prime Trilogy, big one, super awesome to get. Or sorry, not Prime Trilogy, Prime Corruption. Not the best of the three, but a fantastic game nonetheless. Resident Evil 4, redone on the Wii with motion controls, was way cool, totally rad. Super Paper Mario, I'm a huge fan of. I hope eventually that one gets a remaster or a re-release at the very least. Would be really cool. WarioWare Smooth Moves was one of my favorite WarioWare games. Incorporating the motion controls into the mix was a lot of fun. I remember like ripping out nose hairs and gliding as Wind Waker Link in some of the mini games, which was really fun. Let me see. I had Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which played terribly on the Wii.
Yeah.
It was a gift. I wasn't like I really want this for the Wii. But yeah, those were the big ones for me. The Sonic was fine. It was an on the rails Sonic, and while it's not the best, it's actually a lot better than I think some of the later Sonics that came out not long afterwards. But
Yeah, Sonic was going through a tough time, I think, during this era.
Yeah, but it's not like the most stellar launch, but I actually think it's pretty solid. And what's interesting too is the number of mature rated games in this launch window too. I find interesting because I feel like this was kind of like around the height of Nintendo being called a children's console, you know,
Or at least a family console.
or a family console.
Yeah,
You know, they didn't make the huge graphical jump like the other companies were doing, and some of those other leaps, and you know.
Lisa, what are your thoughts on this lineup?
I'm actually realizing that I didn't play a lot of these launch lineup Wii games. The only other game here that I played was Wii Play, and like that was like another game like with the family. But like you guys mentioned, there are a lot of games here that are M rated, which like now that Xbox seems to kind of be like buddy, like more buddy with Nintendo than ever. I feel like they have a lot of the more mature rated games, so I could see us getting like a lot of those type of games too, along with all of the Nintendo ones that we love.
Totally.
Eric, what'd you play here?
The one that I played the most of would be Mario Strikers Charged, and it wasn't a whole lot, but because I didn't like it as much as the GameCube one. But I mean, we still played it with me and my friend. Other than that, I mean, maybe I think we touched Mario Party. Yeah, that's about it. But yeah, I mean, just even in the number of like M-rated games, but T, just the shooting games. I mean, granted, to be fair, this type of thing did lend itself well to that type of game. So
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't surprising because again, like we said, Nintendo's kind of the family friendly console, or at least stated to be or told to be that is. So yeah, it is kind of surprising that out of how many games are on here, a good chunk of them are T and M. So that's actually pretty crazy.
Absolutely. Nate, did you play many of these games?
Not really, to be honest. Metroid Prime Corruption and Paper Mario is about it, and we play.
All right, I played a little bit more. Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was fun. This was really fun on the Wii. It was better with the Wii Motion Plus later on, but this was really fun. I remember having a bunch of friends over. This is when my brother, John, and my cousin Jim, we all lived together. And I remember we were mixing drinks. It was like really nice weather out. We had all the windows open, which, in Arizona, we have so many seasons of heat. So when you can do this, it was really nice. And we're just literally drinking and golfing like all day. And we had a bunch of friends over and it was a great time. And I just remember doing that. And again, I mentioned before, but this console just like really brought people together. And it really felt like such a party console because it was fun. Like it forced you to get up off the couch and do something a little different. And I know for like the hardcore gamers, this console was probably not their favorite. And even for me, like as well, like there was a lot of games on here that I would have preferred to play on a different console. Obviously all the Nintendo exclusives I'm there, but the motion controls sometimes I didn't like. But for something like Resident Evil 4 Wii Edition, which is why I put it in the center, this game was badass, right? Like I think we all had a great time playing Resident Evil 4.
Sure.
Elebits. Did you guys play Elebits?
No.
Dude, this game was fun. It's legit fun. Look it up. It was a great time. It's by Konami. And again, it was one of the first games to release after the launch. And so if you wanted to try, some new games, that was one of the first ones. So you might, play a game that you normally wouldn't play because it's one of the first new launch games. So you're like, maybe I'll try it out so I can try out some more games. It was actually a lot of fun. That was a winner. Obviously Metroid Prime 3. Yeah, I'm sure we all played that. My cousin bought Sonic and the Secret Rings and we both played it. He did not like it. He hated it. He thought it was the biggest waste of money. He's just out of control, different, like horribly. Big Brain Academy, did play that. Always enjoyed Big Brain Academy. Enjoyed it on the DS as well. Did you guys play Big Brain? Did we do this?
No.
I played it on a DS.
I played Brain Academy, but I don't know if it was that one.
Yeah, they were fun games. I enjoyed them. How about WarioWare?
Absolutely.
This was fun.
It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I agree. Like this was one of the games that we played with all of our friends together, and it was a lot of fun. They had you do some really crazy stuff, and you're like, for real? So that was a good time. Super Paper Mario, obviously, that was a day one game as well that I played. We play. Did not play Prince of Persia. Didn't play Medal of Honor. We did play The Godfather Black Hand Edition. My cousin got it. That was actually pretty good. It was a pretty good time. And then Mario Strikers Charged. But again, if you guys kind of look at who was there at the launch window? It's the same people, same devs. It's Ubisoft, it's EA, Midway, Konami, Sega. That's pretty much it. SNK's there and Capcom. But it's something that we see with all of these console launches that we've been looking at each week. It's the same familiar companies.
Mm-hmm.
So again, as we get to 2 weeks from now, when we start talking about our final Switch 2 predictions, I'd say we can't sleep on Ubisoft. They're probably going to have a lot of games, I would imagine, ready for Switch 2. Now, before I go to the next slide, are there any final things that we want to say about the launch window highlights here?
Yeah.
Look, did it need anything but Twilight Princess and Wii Sports?
It really didn't.
Besides Wii Sports.
Now, no offense to all these games,
Yeah,
but
right,
it's kind of
right,
like
Yeah.
it was hard to buy for like 2 years because of Wii Sports
Yeah,
alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it's solid. That's a solid launch window. You got your party games, you got your platformers, you got your shooters, you got your Metroidvania, you got your fighter, you got your sports games. That is a solid launch window.
Yeah, I agree. It is solid. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys the bonus slide. And before we started the podcast, I gave the crew a hint as to what we're going to see here. And
That's right.
the hint I gave them is it's complete horseshit. Okay? And you're going to see why. So here's the bonus slide. This is the shovelware highlights.
I was right.
Dude, I had the Barbie horse one. I had that.
guys, I'm going through all the box arts, right? And the zip file I have with all the box art didn't have any of the games labeled. So I'm literally having to filter through all the shovelware. And as I'm going through it, I'm like, this is insane. There's a Cold Stone Creamery game. What? Like, I'm just I keep going through it. I'm like, there's too many good ones here for me to not
funny.
mention this. And then as I'm going, I'm like, are you kidding me? How many horse games are on the Wii?
Forget farming sims. Horse games was where it was at on the
Yeah.
Wii.
And, okay, now I'll tell you what makes sense. There's at least double the amount of fishing, which makes
Yeah,
sense
I'm
because of
sure.
the motion controller. There's at least 20 fishing games, if not 30. The amount of like Big Buck Hunter and Cabela's and all these spin-offs, there's probably 30 or 40. And again, like with it being, the Wii Zapper, okay, it's like, okay, some of this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But 9 horse games? Bro, what? Like, no way. No way.
Dude, I'm just excited for Grey's Anatomy, the video game.
Yeah, right.
Dude, I know. And then Pizza
The
Delivery
Redneck
Boy.
series.
Oh, yeah.
The Redneck
Calvin
series.
Tucker's Redneck. I'm like, who's Calvin Tucker? I should have looked it up before. Like, this is wild, man. I cannot believe this. And then Chuck E. Cheese has 3 games on the
3.
Wii.
The Chucky trilogy.
Yeah, the trilogy.
What the hell is Pajama Party and why is that a game?
Right?
Or Hotel Dogs. So bad.
Dude, Pajama Party. I don't know if you see the logo here. That's by EA.
Yeah.
Like, bro, what are you thinking? There's so many
Brutal.
in here that are by like EA or Activision. And I'm like, dude, you guys are messed up for releasing
This
this
is
trash.
back when like EA, like it was like 3 or 4 consecutive years in a row was voted like the worst company in America.
I
Do you
remember that. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I do.
They
and
won
I
it like
agreed.
4 years in a row.
Aladdin Magic Racer. I'm like, what is this? Pet Resort. You got a golden retriever wearing a Hawaiian shirt here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got looks like a
I like the one that's called was it 30 great games?
Dude, okay, there's at least
90 great games, 30 great games.
there's at least 10 compilation games like this where it's like 30 great games, 50, 60. I'm like, as
It's
I
like
was
open
going through
hair
it, I'm like,
salon called Haircut Place. It's like terrible.
this is wild.
Tough crowd.
Hey, guys, these are all physical games.
Yeah.
They would be
Oh, yeah.
at the store on the shelf.
Yeah.
You got a Jelly Belly game,
Oh, yeah.
two M&M's games.
These are the games that you look left and right to make sure no one's there before you pick it up and look at the back of the case. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
These games were the definition, though, of shovelware because they would be in one of those bins that would normally house like DVDs that are $2 or $3.
$5 games, baby.
Yeah, all of these were in there.
Yeah.
All of this trash.
All of them.
Wild. And I couldn't believe this when I was going through it, that they had a Heathcliff game. Did you guys know that?
No.
Like, I personally, I really enjoyed the Heathcliff cartoon. Like the intro is fire. It still is. The song is so good.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I might try to look that up on eBay. Might try to get a physical version of Heathcliff.
There you go.
There we go.
I mean,
You could do a Heathcliff review.
Yeah, right.
what Gremlins game is? What is it? Just don't feed Gizmo?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, honestly, the Gremlins game on Nintendo by Sunsoft is a phenomenal game, but this is not that. It's by the developers NECA, which they make really
Nick is
nice
awesome.
figurines.
Figures, yeah.
There you go. By the way, Stash, only $11 for a sealed copy of Heathcliff.
Can you send me that link? For real, that's a steal, I think, for $11 for Heathcliff.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the only Heathcliff video game.
Let's see if I can find a better one. Oh, it has a ripped corner there. I'm fine without a ripped corner. Hold on. Oh,
Thank
I'll
you.
find it. I'll find it.
Now, guys, I will say this. I could have made 5 slides full of this trash. So,
Easy.
again,
Yeah, easy.
I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this again. And I also wanted to include this pool party one because
You
this
say
photo
that,
is so
but
90s.
You say that, but the Switch eShop, they may not be physical, but the Switch eShop isn't much better.
I agree with that. I think the
Yeah.
Switch eShop is actually what you'd say probably worse.
Yeah, probably.
But the fact that
you can make
physical
20
games.
slides, you can make 20 slides of this of just hentai games. Maybe even the same version.
Yeah.
Of like the hentai games found a loophole where you can take one game and make like 30 versions of it and flood the eShop, and you'll just keep being number one all the time.
That's so crazy. They need to crack down on that.
Yeah. No, Nintendo fixed that loophole like a week ago or something, but it had been going on for years.
This is crazy. Like, I do want to point this out. Pony Friends 2, the developer is Square Enix.
Hell yeah, it is. Dude, everyone participated in shovelware back then.
It's
Pets
so wild.
with a Z, Pets Horses.
Yeah. I really like the idea of there not being a Pony Friends 1. They just started with 2.
I know. I'm like, where's
Because it
part?
sounds like bigger and better.
Yeah, I seriously was like, where's the box art for part 1? And I couldn't find it. I'm like, huh. Maybe, I guess
See?
it doesn't exist.
Nope.
But Ubisoft was in it, THQ, Atari, Activision.
Oh, yeah.
Wild times. I hope we never see these days again.
I looked up the Gremlins Gizmo game, and it's one of those like point and click. You run around the room, and then you play like little mini games and stuff. It actually looks kind of cool.
Well, pretty much all these games are mini games.
Well, I mean, right, but it's
Welcome to the Wii.
yeah, you're just Gizmo and you're running around the room and playing like mini games and stuff like that. It actually seems kind of cool,
I do wonder how Billy the Wizard is right here.
right?
I don't know anything about that.
I've never wondered what any of these games are. I still aren't wondering. I'm good.
Yeah, I just want to see what Heathcliff's about. But yeah, I'm with
I
you.
feel like Thunder, I gotta be honest with you, man. I feel like you're tarnishing the Wii's legacy right now with this slide. I gotta be real for you. And it's
Dude,
making me
I had
very
to know this.
uncomfortable.
Well, he did warn it was horseshit. So
I did, yeah. Dude, there's a lot of horse shit here. There's 9 piles to clean up right here. All right, let's move on though to the Nintendo DS. All right, and again, we got to have the picture up here of Reggie pulling out the DS from his jacket
It was
pocket.
iconic.
Classic, right?
Yeah.
Now, as you can see, we got 6 games here. This was a very light launch. I remember being able to go to Best Buy and pick this up, and nobody was buying it.
No.
I was worried. I'm like, oh my God, this isn't good, because it's like, I know we need everyone to buy this. Otherwise, it's not going to get very many games, and it's going to be the Virtual Boy all over again. I was a little concerned, but obviously, thankfully, it caught on and was wildly successful.
Exploded.
Yeah, but for a while, and you guys will see this too when we get to the next slide with the launch window games. For a while, it took the developers to figure out how are we going to make games on this. Do you guys remember that?
Yep.
I mean, look, all I remember was, hey, I'm playing Super Mario 64 on the go. This is pretty cool. That's literally all I cared about.
Yeah, and you had the thumb pad.
Yeah,
Or not the thumb pad.
Yeah,
The
the thumb pad.
yeah, it was the thumb pad accessory
no.
that you literally tie up on your thumb, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And it had the little plastic, that curved plastic.
Oh my God.
It was
Yeah.
bad. The thumb pad was terrible.
It was interesting because like it worked, but it wasn't great, but it worked. You know what I mean?
The
Like it
stylus
was
was great.
serviceable. Yeah, stylus was great. Did you guys play any of these games like outside of Mario 64? Did you play any more?
Yeah, I had the silver DS, obviously, with the Hunters pack-in. Loved it. Super cool to play a multiplayer kind of Prime game. And then I had Super Mario DS, and I ended up getting Feel the Magic, which was actually a great game as well. But Super Mario 64, I played the crap out of it, but to be honest with you, I actually I feel like I played the mini games in there more than I actually played Mario 64.
Oh yeah.
I think I played mostly the mini games too.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I'm like, where is it coming from?
That's Larmo. That means it's top of the hour. It's 7 p.m.
nice.
I have mine on Zelda.
Yeah, I downloaded I got the new DLC. Got the new Super Mario Brothers DLC.
Yeah.
I had to download that as soon as it went live.
Hell yeah.
Feel the Magic was very interesting as a launch title. I thought it was kind of risque back then. What do you guys think? Just with the cover art, Feel the Magic, and you got lady in a bikini. I'm like, this is kind of odd launch title for a Nintendo console.
For Nintendo, totally.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just thought it was kind of odd. The rest of these games, like Asphalt Urban GT, that was a solid racing game. Ridge Racer, you know what to expect there. I didn't play the Herbs Sims in the City. It was really Mario 64. Like it almost felt like the N64 launch all over again, where all we have to play is Mario 64. But that was kind of enough for the time being because it was such new technology with the DS.
Yep.
And then, of course, the Metroid Prime Hunters. That was really cool. And we had Picto Chat at launch, right?
Oh my God. Yes.
That was fun.
Picto Chat was the best.
Remember, we didn't have smartphones.
Very inappropriate.
Yes.
Smartphones did not exist at the time when this came out. It was a Picto Chat, big deal.
All right, let's move on to these launch window titles here. And Again, guys,
Nintendogs, baby.
we
It's not
see
great.
familiar faces, though, don't we? Bomberman. He's
Mhm.
almost always there at launch
Mhm.
or in the launch window.
Bomberman.
And then
we got
again,
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, 3 Ubisoft games in the launch window. Let me tell you, I had other games, obviously, I could add. These are the launch window highlights, but the other games were like total shovelware. Like
Sure.
these
Mhm.
are literally the highlights. This is as good as it gets. And again, you could just always count on Ubisoft and EA for the longest time. Ubisoft and EA was always there at launch for Nintendo. I would like to give a shout out to Meteos. Dude, I had a lot of fun with that game. Did you guys play that?
Mm-mm.
Really?
Mm-mm.
You didn't play this? You still haven't?
Sorry, man. No.
Oh my god. Okay, like look, if we look at all the Nintendo launches like we've been doing, we always see Tetris in the either at launch or in the launch window. The reason why we don't is because of Meteos. This is a Nintendo game made by Nintendo. It's excellent. Like you didn't need Tetris because this was their answer to the Tetris puzzler was Meteos. For real, like it's actually a really good game. If you do ever get the chance to play it, highly suggest it. But what stands out to you guys here?
Well, I played a lot of these games. So Bomberman, played it on DS. Kirby Canvas Curse, really love that one a lot. Yoshi Touch and Go. Look, I was already a Yoshi fan by then, so had to get that one. Really good game. WarioWare Touch. That was my first ever WarioWare game. It just felt appropriate. WarioWare touched, and then he got that look on the box. I'm like, dude, what are we touching? This is I got to see what this is about. And of course, WarioWare games, as you come to find out, look, they're not afraid to be inappropriate if you got a dirty mind. So it works out for me. And this is where like the Nintendog stuff started as well. Like I didn't own all three of them. I own the one in the middle with the lab because I love labs. But I think it's a lab. Maybe it's a golden retriever. I don't really know because it's a puppy. But because they look similar when they're puppies. But yeah, it's I really enjoyed Nintendogs because look, I was obviously like, you know, in my teenage years here in high school, and I'm sitting there like, hey man, you know what this reminds me of? Tamagotchi. It's a grown up Tamagotchi now. Sweet. So I got really into that first Nintendogs. And then Advance Wars, man. Advance Wars was so good. So good. I love tactical kind of strategy games with turns and everything. And the fact that Nintendo had one and it was a war game, I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That was awesome. So yeah, I played a lot of them. I know I played the GoldenEye one, but I never owned that. I think it was a friend of mine that had it. So I don't have a lot of experience with it.
Yeah,
I have
I've
a-
only played. Oh, go ahead, Alyssa.
No, you go. You go.
I'll be quick. I've only played 3 of these games. I played Yoshi Touch and Go, Kirby Canvas Curse, which is a phenomenal game,
Oh, wow.
and Advance Wars, which I also thoroughly loved. I love Wario. I never got a chance to play WarioWare Touched, and I haven't played any of these other games. And it's interesting to me. Like I love the DS, and I had a lot. I had quite a lot of games for this little handheld. But I think for like based on like all the consoles we've seen so far, I think at least at the time, this was probably the launch lineup and launch window list of games that probably excited me the least of the ones we've went over.
Yeah, the only game on here I've played is the Dachshund Nintendogs, but I remember sorry. I remember like really being into that one. Like I love that you could like walk your dog and you could teach him how to do all these cool tricks and take him to agility and you like watch your dog progress and then you know of course they would be like sad when they were hungry, but yeah. I mostly did like a lot of the Picto chat on the bus with the kids. That was the thing. All the kids on the bus with the Picto chat and I know Mario Kart isn't on here, but Mario Kart was like the big thing
Oh,
for
yeah.
my age group too. Especially because they had the download play. And even though you had to be a shy guy, you'd get like 20 kids on the bus or however you max it out, and we would all just be playing Mario Kart. I actually missed my bus stop one time. I like looked up, I was like, oh, and she's like, well, I gotta drop all these other kids off now, and then I come back for you. I'm like, okay.
I
Mario Kart.
totally relate to that. Me and like 3 or 4 other friends would link up on our DSs. We'd sneak them in class. We'd have our backpack in front and stuff, and we'd be playing Mario Kart, trying to be quiet. You know, there'd always be that one friend who's about to get hit with the blue shell, who's like, in class and gets called out. But yeah, I have very fond memories of school days playing Mario Kart too. So I hear you.
I wish I would have been in school when the DS was out. I told you guys before, but we used to play Mario Kart on GBA in class. But it would have been so much fun to have DS in school and using Picto Chat. I'm sure that would have been hilarious. Probably would have been some inappropriate stuff, but it would have been, a good time, obviously. I had Nintendogs. I got the Dachshund and Friends. Or how do you pronounce that? Is it Dachshund? Dachshund?
I think it's a tomato thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one though because I like those dogs. They're really cool.
Yeah.
I remember being at the time when this came out. I was a personal banker at Wells Fargo, and I would literally I'd bring my DS to work, obviously, because why wouldn't I? And I'd have it in my desk, and I would literally check on my dog here and there in between, trying to hit my comp plan and sign people up for credit cards and online banking and making sure I make as much money as I can. I'm checking on my dogs in between here, and it was fun, man, because I wasn't the only one. We all had DSs at work because everyone saw my DS and then went out and bought one. This is how it is anywhere I've worked. I think, I talked to you guys about this at Lone Depot. Everyone was buying the Switch after they saw it, and everyone was buying the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic. Yeah, I try to get people to buy as much video games as possible because I think life's probably a little bit better with video games. Yoshi's Touch and Go, played that. Played Kirby, played Bomberman. Actually played Nano Stray. That's a good game. It doesn't get enough love. Obviously, Meteos doesn't get enough love since I'm the only one who played it, sadly. Again, please go play that. Advance Wars Dual Strike. That was a great game. WarioWare, played that. But not a lot of games. Again, these were the best. This was the best of the best I could add for the launch window highlights. But I think people were just trying to figure it out, how to develop games. And I think we saw that with the DS and the Wii. Developers just trying to figure out hey, how do we make games for the DS and the Wii? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, with the dual screen, it was new. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see how it would take some time to figure out how to the best use both screens.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I like to keep things simple. I love the dual screen concept. I've talked about this before on the show with the Wii U and just the accessibility for playing a Zelda and having your map and your items that you're able to, save there, mark something on your map or switch to your iron boots or whatever it is. Just that convenience and how it doesn't break immersion. You're not pausing, sifting through menus to get, then selecting, then unpausing back to the game. So even at that most basic level functionality on the DS, I love. I absolutely love. But obviously over time, some developers did find, more crafty ways to use it.
Yeah, I agree. It took a while for these to get going. Both consoles just pretty small launch games, launch window. And one thing that's nice, of course, about the Switch 2 is that we're not going to be dealing with that. Everyone knows how to develop for the Switch.
Yep.
Switch 2 should only make it easier, especially with the DLSS. So I expect a much larger launch game and much larger launch window. And so with that said, I think that kind of wraps up the Wii and the DS for the launches.
Mhm.
Solid, right? I
Yeah.
think we could say it's solid, especially since they were figuring out new technology. There's some good stuff in there.
There's a lot of sold. I can tell you that much.
I feel like this is one of the cases where the hardware was, at least in this launch period, the hardware was more special than the software compared to some of the other generations that we've discussed here over this retrospective. But still some really great memories, and it only got better from here.
Yeah, sure did. Yeah. But maybe one day we'll do a complete highlight, right? Of the best games. I don't know if there'll be a reason to do that, but yeah, there were so many great games on these consoles. But solid launches all around. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand this off. I'm going to stop sharing the screen.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So, question for you guys: since Nate had to step away, did we want to just jump to Game Bird's topic so that way we don't have to catch him up on what the dealer's choice topic is?
Yes.
And so that way so I can explain it why he's here. So I don't have to catch him back up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my topic, this may be the last generation for Nintendo's biggest legends. Nintendo's an old company, but they're also one that's maintained a lot of loyalty among their top creative minds since the very beginning. And a lot of those creative minds are either at retirement age or will be during the Nintendo Switch 2 generation, if we presume Switch 2 is the main system for the next 8 years. And we might be having some new talent take over. But I think it's an interesting topic because the first person I want to mention is Shigeru Miyamoto, often called the godfather of gaming. He's the creator of Mario, the creator of Zelda, and is the man who's always put fun before everything else. And has always, it's like that quote you pulled up earlier, Stash. This is just a very special person, and for a lot of people, he's kind of the face of Nintendo. It's usually the first name you think of when you think of Nintendo. He Pikmin, father of Pikmin, and like some of the unique stories he's had to tell of where he's gotten the ideas for his games. So my thoughts are, or my question is for you guys is, as a Nintendo fan, what does Miyamoto or his legacy and contributions to the company mean to you guys? What do you think of when you think of Shigeru Miyamoto? Additionally, what do you think of Nintendo, given that he's 72 years old? If the Switch 2 is going to be an 8-year gen like the Switch 1 was, that's 80 years old. It's very likely Miyamoto will be done by then or before then. What does Nintendo look like without the man, the myth, and the legend? And then I want to add in a second part to that. Eiji Aonuma, he took over for Miyamoto with Majora's Mask as, director and producer of the Legend of Zelda series. He's created and taken Zelda from being a very popular Nintendo franchise to one of the biggest games in the last generation, if not the last few generations, with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But he's 61. He'll be around 70 by the time Switch 2 is done. He might be ready or close to ready to pass on the torch. And, as Zelda fans, I know, Eric, you're a rebel and an outsider on the Zelda side, but still what he's brought to the table, what he means to you as a Nintendo fan, and what you think the series more specifically looks like without Aonuma. Do you think it will be a good hands? How do you think it will change? Let's start with Miyamoto, though. What do you guys think? Jump in, who's ever ready.
I immediately think like Mario and Zelda when I hear Miyamoto. And he is, like you said, when you think of Nintendo, like that is one of the first names that comes to mind. Um, I think that them passing on the torch, I feel like Nintendo is, out of all of the companies, they're the ones that's gonna make sure that their games don't lose their fun and like how they make us feel, if that makes sense. Especially like with how even it went from Miyamoto to Aonuma and what Aonuma has done, and then these past 3 Zelda games with Fujibayashi being on board and what he's helped accomplish too. I really don't like. I'm not afraid of what's to come. I don't want them to ever leave because they make such great things that I love. But I do
Right.
think that they oversee and their influence on the next generation is like heavily impacted.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I kind of have this vision of Miyamoto like retiring from Nintendo, but being that guy who still like randomly shows up at the office into
Yeah.
his like last days. Like, what, dude, what are you doing here? You retired, go home. And he's just like, I want to make sure the games are still fun. And, you know, just like
Right.
super old and just, you know, still at it. He's got the little Pikmin in his pocket and stuff. But what about you, Stash? What do you think and feel when it comes to Miyamoto, at least?
Yeah, you mentioned Godfather of Gaming. I completely agree. Yeah, I remember even being like in middle school. So I'm talking like 90, 96, 97, 98, and reading interviews from Miyamoto in Nintendo Power. And just like looking up to this guy. And, bear in mind, I'm like 11, 12 years old at that time. And so to be from that age to almost 40 years old here, I've followed like this man's career from a very young age. I experienced everything he's created really from nearly the beginning. I was born in 85, so I clearly I was not playing video games in 1985, but I was in 88. I learned how to play video games at a very young age with 2 older brothers and watching them play. And so I've experienced it all, but as far as like following this guy's career and like reading interviews with him, that started at like 11 or 12 years old. So a big part of me is very sad. Just because it's time, right? It catches up to all of us. Nothing's eternal here. And so I just kind of look at it that way, like, man, I'm gonna miss him, obviously, when he's gone. And I know he's getting up there. I try not to think about age, right? Because again, I'm getting up there. And so I just try not to like think about the number, even subconsciously. If it comes up, I try to like cut that thought off because I just don't want to think about that. But I know it's coming, right? I know that sooner or later, yes, he's going to have to retire. For me, I kind of think Miyamoto will be there like literally to the end.
Yeah, Miyamoto the Immortal. That's what I call him.
I mean, I think he's going to be there. He's going to be into his 80s and still working at Nintendo.
Yeah.
I really do. And I know everyone's concerned about him getting older and how many more years he has left, but this is his love. This is his passion. This is not work. This is not work for him anymore, especially in the position that he's in now. You know what I mean? Like he's not grinding away at developing games. Nintendo's saying, "Hey, can you fly over here to go oversee something at the theme park at Universal?" He's literally seeing his creations and his dreams come to life.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's working on the movies. He's doing different things that I think these are all things that he really enjoys.
Yeah.
And I would presume that his family understands this too. I would think that he's had discussions already with his family as far as like what his plans are when it comes to Nintendo and how long he wants to stay. I'm sure Nintendo knows as well.
I'm glad you mentioned the theme park in the Mario movie. I live in California. So when Super Nintendo World opened up, I went as soon as I could go. And going through that warp pipe and like stepping into the park and seeing the animatronics and hearing the music and the coin sounds going off in the background and seeing, Toad walking by and stuff. Like I got like goosebumps. I got hit with so many feels because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a childhood dream come to life. Like I would have never imagined anything like this as a kid. But for someone like Miyamoto, where it's like, Mario's his baby, this is where everything exploded. You could only imagine how much that means to him and how special of a project that he got to oversee and be alive for is incredible. I do get scared when I think about him stepping away, and I'm sure whoever becomes like the new Miyamoto at Nintendo, his successor, whoever, if they let him kind of appoint like this is the new me, I'm sure he'll pick wise, just like he did with who's taking over Zelda. But that being said, I think about how we lost Iwata and then we lost Reggie Fils-Aimé and how much changed after that. Not saying Nintendo's going to completely change, but when I think of a face of a company and I think of Reggie Fils-Aimé, there's no one like him. No one from Sony, no one from who's ever been the face of Microsoft. I forget who the big one was before Spencer. It was like Major Nelson or I forget who is one of the faces for Microsoft.
What was
Reggie
it?
had
Peter something?
Maybe it was Peter something. It's been a while.
The guy who had the Grand Theft Auto tattoo on his arm?
Yes.
Peter Main? Peter Main was it?
Yes, I think that's right.
He used to work for Nintendo.
There's never been like kind of like a spokesperson president like Reggie, who had so much charisma and style, and when he said stuff, he said it in a way. And they're doing directs with puppets and fighting the two presidents fighting Smash Brothers style, and Mega 64 doing the toys and the claymation, that stuff went away. And those are very special memories, but that was such an Iwata thing. And Miyamoto, like when the man steps on stage, like any event, you think of like old E3s, just that like glow of a personality, that light that radiates from him. He always has a huge smile on his face. I remember him coming out with like the Master Sword and the Hylian shield. That was famous photos of him like cheering and stuff with the sword and shield. Or when he came out with the Buster Cannon for the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and Davide starts like tearing up seeing Miyamoto wearing the blaster and stuff. Like just so many special moments where you like this man, he's such a unique, irreplaceable person who just has so much love and passion for Nintendo and for us gamers. So it like the shoes could not be bigger to fill, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And here's the thing. One thing I've seen with Nintendo for years, right, is they're very good internally when it comes to seamless transitions. And I'm not talking about like console transitions, okay? I'm talking about on an employee level. They do such a great job at training their employees. And then if you look at Nintendo's retention, their employee retention is insane. I believe it's 98%. People literally work there for decades.
Yeah.
Like when you get hired at Nintendo, that's what you do for the rest of your life. If you want to. Like if you want to work there the rest of your life and you're passionate about it, there's a very good chance you will. Unless you mess it up for yourself. You're not going to get laid off. Nintendo's not going to lay you off. They don't do that. So I feel like the future is in extremely good hands. I truly do. So I'm not worried about it from that aspect that like, oh, who's going to be the next Miyamoto? I don't know that it has to be anybody. I don't know. I almost look from a sports level. We're never going to have another Michael Jordan. Jordan's
Sure.
the GOAT. In my opinion, he's the GOAT. We're never going to have another one. And so I can't expect another basketball player to come and be another Jordan. You know, Mike's Mike, Kobe's Kobe. We're not going to get another Tom Brady. You know what I mean? Like, the league can try to give us another Tom Brady. The NBA could try to give us someone who can, carry the baton for Jordan. They've tried to do it with LeBron. But, he's his own player. They're all their own players, right? And I just don't know that they're going to have to really anoint someone to be the next Miyamoto, because I really believe that collectively we have that. We have the spirit of it. Like, when Miyamoto passes away one day, his DNA is forever embedded in Nintendo,
Yeah.
just like Iwata. And when you talk about Reggie, those were such special times, right? I so looked forward to all of the E3s back then, and just to kind of see like Reggie's stage presence. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the antics, like you said, the Mega 64 stuff. That was
the
so
Jim
good.
Henson Nintendo
Yeah.
61, Nintendo 62, and he's doing the push-ups.
Yes.
And then Miyamoto's coughing up feathers and stuff. Oh
Dude,
my
it
god,
was
it was
so
so good.
But Reggie has a really special charisma, right?
Totally.
And I don't know if we're ever gonna get that again. What it reminds me of, and I'm gonna give like an old reference and see if anybody also in chat remembers this. But growing up as a kid on like ABC, they would have the like Sunday night or the Saturday night Disney movie. It would be like a premiere sometimes
Mhm.
of them showing a movie on ABC that has never been on TV before. And they would have an intro with I believe he was the chairman of Disney, Michael Eisner. And this guy like had charisma and screen presence that you really looked forward to seeing him in the intro. Like, he's introducing the movie to you. Yeah, Art Vandelay said in chat, it was Sunday night. Yeah, it was a Sunday night movie. Good old Art Vandelay. What does Art Vandelay do again?
Architecture.
That's right, architecture. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Love Art Vandelay, man. But
Or exporting and importing.
yeah, that's right. And what was the other one? A marine biologist.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he said wonderful world of Disney. So if anyone doesn't know, like, you can go on YouTube and look up like old 1980s Disney movie intros like on TV. And I swear to God, like, you don't have to have nostalgia for it, but if you watch it and then you see the intro with Eisner, it's really cool. Like, it's special, and you can probably draw direct comparisons to kind of what we went through with Reggie.
Right.
It was just a special moment, and when they were on screen, you paid attention.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun. So I don't think we're ever going to get that, and it's too bad, because Doug Bowser, he could really capitalize with that name.
Yeah.
He really could.
He seems like a cool dude. He seems
He
super
does.
nice and stuff. He just doesn't have that charisma and like I don't know if like star quality is the right word, but Reggie had that, you know what I mean? But Eric, I want to hear your thoughts. We're going to talk about Eiji Aonuma and Zelda as well.
Yeah.
But I want to get your thoughts on Miyamoto.
I mean,
before we.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, is Nintendo what it is without him? It's hard to say yes. I mean, it really is. I mean, he created basically the mascot of what Nintendo is now, and how many of the main characters that we in game franchises that we know and we love. I mean, it's going to be a tough big shoes to fill when he does retire, and it's gonna suck. But I mean, I just want to. It'd be nice to see. We haven't had, to me, really a big, brand new series or game or character in quite a while. It feels like, it'd just be interesting to see kind of what is the next Mario, what is the next Zelda, what is the next Metroid, what is the next. I know Metroid's not, Miyamoto, but what is that next major character that we get for Nintendo? So that's kind of where my brain is going, is what is the new thoughts that we can get into here. Not saying that the old thoughts are bad, because again, Nintendo I don't think would be where it is without him. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah, I would love to see Miyamoto in his final days. I want to make a Miyazaki comparison. I know not everyone in chat is probably like an anime fan, but I'd love to see him kind of pull a Miyazaki and do like the one last thing, and before he leaves, drop like his last brand new IP that's like a total passion project. This idea he's had for 20, 30, 40 years that he never made or something like that. And just pulls like a Miyazaki and surprises us all and gives us the best farewell gift ever. I think that would be so cool, but obviously I'm not going to cross my fingers or I'm not going to hope for, count on something like that. Real quick, before we move on to Asia Onuma, I want to ask you guys, and I'll be doing the same at the end of the Asia Onuma discussion. Favorite Mario game?
Favorite Mario game?
Yeah, favorite Mario game.
That is a bold question.
Yeah. I'll let you pick a 2D and a 3D if it makes it easier.
That does. Thank you.
Just to honor the creator.
Okay, I'm going to go with, for 3D, Super Mario 64, because it literally changed the game. And Miyamoto was all over the creation and development of Mario 64, along with the Nintendo 64 controller. His blueprint is all over that. And then for 2D, God, this is always just such a hard question because it comes down to two of them. But I still got to go Super Mario Brothers 3. Super Mario World is right there, but I got to go Mario 3.
Very nice. Alyssa, what about you?
I'm going to go with Mario Odyssey, just because when I played that, I was cracked out on it. All I did was eat and sleep. I didn't leave my bed. I lived with my parents at that time, so I just sat in my bed, my TV there, just played Mario Odyssey. I only left for those two things, and that was it. You can, 18 hours straight, just Mario Odyssey. But
awesome.
And then for 2D, I'm gonna go with Wonder, just because I haven't really played too many of the side scroller ones, but I do really like how Wonder switched it up and gave you all those different crazy effects. It made it feel fresh, wacky.
I think those are both fantastic picks. Mario Odyssey is an amazing game. New Donk City is one of my favorite worlds in a Mario game. I love all the nostalgia in New Donk City, and when you get to the huge parade event in that world, it's so cool. Wonder's another one. I was so happy they stepped away from the new Super Mario Bros. Style that I think was getting a little bit tired and uninventive. Mario Wonder shakes it up a bit, has kind of a little bit more stylized Mario with a little bit more expressive that I think really, really adds to it. Eric, what about you?
Mario 64, and that is my favorite Mario game, period. So I don't even have to go to a 2D.
There you go. Iconic, legendary title, changed the landscape for 3D platformers. I'm gonna say both. My favorite Mario game of all time is Super Mario World. I've said it on here to nauseum. So if you guys are getting sick of it, get ready to hear it more. But for 3D, I'm gonna say Mario Odyssey 2. Mario Galaxy 2. Apologies, I just confused everyone in chat. Mario Galaxy 2. Mario Galaxy was like the coolest thing I could have ever imagined for a 3D platformer from Mario. And then I was like, oh, it doesn't get any better than this. Like, they can't top this 3D platformer. This is, this game is out of this world. And they went ahead and did it with a sequel, and the sequel's even better, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna go with those two. But now let's jump over to the other man, the other myth, and the other legend. My favorite developer at Nintendo, the developer of my favorite series of all time, and I'm guessing I'm not alone in that here. Don't ask me why, but Eiji Aonuma, he took over for Miyamoto after Ocarina of Time. His first Zelda that he directed was Majora's Mask, and he made it in record time. This game was super special. I've got my big Majora's Mask behind me. This game, to me, yes, it used a lot of the same assets, but the vision that this man had for this game was so ahead of its time, with a complex time mechanic, fast forward time, rewind time, slow time, speed up time, go back a day, go back to the beginning of the 3 days, jump forward to the end, with the complex schedules that all the NPCs were on. He did something remarkable that had never been done in the series before in such a short window, and since then has gone on to be like, what if the series had a new art style and like brand new core mechanics every time we introduce a new game? So many cool ideas that have become staples for the series. It's the series I hold most dear to my heart. Obviously, he has put together an unbelievable team. And the evidence of that is seen in his work on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, two incredibly ambitious games. I wait with delight and wonder to see what's coming next for the series and their vision for Zelda. But my question for you is, of the Eiji Aonuma era Zelda games, or maybe even before then and his era, what does his involvement in the series mean for you? Pre-Aonuma, post-Aonuma, and lastly, I'd like everyone, like they did before with Miyamoto, to throw in your favorite Zelda game of all time. More specifically, I'd like to hear actually your favorite Aonuma Zelda game, since he kind of took the reins. You want to go first, Stash?
No, you know what? I'd like to hand that off to Alyssa. I want to hear what Alyssa's got. I mean, Zelda's in her name. Skyward Sword Alyssa. So I think you should lead us off here.
Okay, let's have Alyssa lead us off. By the way, is that that Ocarina of Time link in the background? I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a little bit blurry. Is that a cutout or is it a statue?
It is. I have a story. I can make it short. I make a quick story. So it's a promotion for the 3DS when it came out on 3DS. And I was driving with my parents. I don't remember where we were. We were at some kind of strip mall. We drove behind a GameStop, and this was laying like by the dumpster. And you can't see it on this side. Like, you see Ganondorf over here, but Zelda's on the other side. And I said to my dad, I'm like, I swear to God, I'm like, I saw Princess Zelda laying over there. And he stops the car. He's like, all right, well, go out, go look. So I run over there, and my face, I'm like, bring the car back. So I put it in the car. I'm only 5 foot, but like as tall as I am.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thank you.
That looks awesome.
Thank you. Well, Aonuma's babies, Zelda babies, have impacted me so much. Zelda's like everywhere you go in my house, there's something Zelda. You can't look one way and there's not something Zelda there. Just for whatever reason, all of the games that he makes, like the Zelda games, just get so immersed in them, and you get really like involved with the characters. You really feel like you're part of the world, if that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
I know some people in Twilight Princess, they don't really like the whole beginning with like the ranch and stuff, but
Right.
I feel like that was like that was necessary for like a story and like a character growth, because it gives Link like a background. Like he's not just this guy that's got to go on this adventure and save the world. It's like he's just a sweet little ranch boy, and his friends just got taken away, and he's gonna be like, yo, where the hell are my friends at? So
Right. And you said earlier, Twilight Princess was your first Zelda, right? Because when the you played it on the Wii when that came out.
yeah,
Did,
I watched my dad play Ocarina of Time, and I like played around a little bit, but I was only 4. But like, yeah, Twilight Princess was the
right.
first game that I
That was
actually like
that you
played.
dove into.
Yeah,
That's I mean, that's a cool game to start with. That was the one that introduced like fighting on horse with your sword swinging
yeah,
and shooting your bow on horse. To me,
yeah.
that moment in that game when you I forget her name, apologies, when she gets kidnapped.
Aaliyah,
Yes,
Aaliyah.
and you chase after her on
Mhm.
horseback and you're fighting on horseback. That was the moment in that game where I'm like, okay, yeah, they're taking it to the next level now,
Yeah.
fighting on horseback. But yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
I
no,
just
no, no,
wanted
you're
to make
good.
sure I remembered correctly that that's where you started, because that's a cool place to start.
Yeah, it's also the only Zelda game that's T rated T.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's true.
it's interesting. I
I
know we
never
were
thought
like
about
looking, we
that.
were
Yeah,
looking through
it
the
is.
launch lineups and stuff. I was thinking like, could the next Zelda game be T? And then I was like, I don't know. I feel like they really got like a really big audience with the 3D ones. They probably want to keep it like E for like everybody, kind of blanket it. But I don't even really know like why I would want them to make it anything other than that. But yeah, just I don't know. Just the visions that they come up with. Like I know they were inspired from like Peter Pan for Ocarina of Time. Well, this was Miyamoto, right? With Ocarina of
Yeah.
Time. So, um, but
Did,
with Majora's Mask, wasn't he like on like a time schedule and he was having like nightmares and stuff of like the Deku scrubs, and Aonuma was like put it in the
yeah, he
game
had
room?
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
like
right.
that's like nuts to me that
They still haven't matched the dark themes of Majora's Mask, because that game is pretty tragic, and like the whole
yeah.
game, just like the whole game feeling like a death march. Even when I think of Breath of the Wild, it's like the calamity is coming, it's going to
Mhm.
destroy everything. You don't really feel the
Yeah.
death march. It's very serene and beautiful, and the
Tranquil.
sounds of the forest. Yeah, tranquil. That's a perfect
Yeah.
word for it. Whereas Majora's Mask, they do the coolest thing with music in that game, where
So
as each
creepy,
day
yeah.
passes, the music changes ever so slightly, and then when you get to those final 12 hours, it's like full on stress inducing, and you're feeling the pain and the doom and the sorrow. But did you ever get a chance to, you started with Twilight Princess, did
Mhm.
you ever get a chance to go back and play through Ocarina of Time, and like
Oh,
on the
yeah.
DS or?
I played
Nice.
the GameCube version of Ocarina of Time, and I also played the GameCube version of Majora's Mask as well.
Nice.
As far as like the 3D Zeldas, I've played all of them. The top-down ones, the only ones I haven't played are the original and the second one, I believe.
Mm,
I believe those are the only games I haven't played.
okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So
um,
I'm guessing Twilight Princess, that's your favorite Aonuma.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
Tears
awesome.
of the Kingdom, like it was my favorite. Like I had a bit of recency bias with Tears of the Kingdom. They're still kind of like button heads because I really did enjoy Tears of the Kingdom a lot.
Very cool.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in here and give you my thoughts on Star Numa. So, as far as my favorite game, he was the director on Ocarina of Time.
Oh, was he? I thought
Yeah.
he was. Oh, that's right. You're right. I got it mixed up. I thought he produced Ocarina and then directed Majora's.
Yeah. No,
You're right, actually.
so he was the director and he also did dungeon design as well. So he pulled double duty, and you can tell because like the dungeons Ocarina of Time are amazing in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, yeah, I have my favorite 2D Zelda and I have my favorite 3D. And it hasn't changed in a long time. It's still Link to the Past. And it's still Ocarina of Time. So no doubt that's my favorite from Mr. Aonuma. I would say probably my second, though, if we're not using that one, would be probably Twilight Princess. I really love that game. I do really enjoy it. As you mentioned, yeah, the intro, a lot of people get bogged down by the intro. I guess they just, they just want to jump right into the adventure. But I do think it does a good job of kind of setting the foundation for the story.
Right. Absolutely.
And then after you get past that, I mean, it's full on nonstop anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, when else are you going to do this? So I do really like that aspect of the game. And I did revisit it recently just to test out Twilight Princess with 4K assets on my PC.
Mhm.
And so I did go through the intro again, like within the last 1 to 2 months. And it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. It's not that bad. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
got to know what you're doing, where you're going. You get through it. It's not as bad as I think a lot of people make it out to be. As far as, what's going to happen when he retires, right? Again, just like with any of the elder statesmen at Nintendo, they've done such a great job training their staff that I feel very confident. And you can literally look at Miyamoto to Aonuma as an example. Was that not seamless or what?
Yeah.
It's like nothing changed. Like,
Yeah. I was like, nothing happened.
you would never know nothing happened because it doesn't feel like the direction as a whole changed. Yeah, we got different Zelda games, and each game's going to have a different direction, but the spirit of it, the DNA of it, all feels like it's fully intact and like nothing ever changed in that aspect. So again, I feel really confident. I feel confident in the way Nintendo interviews and hires their employees. There's just, I don't know if I see any cracks in the foundation when at Nintendo, and I think there's good reason for me to say that with their 98% retention rate, with being one of the highest rated companies in Japan consistently every year. Nothing negative ever comes out of Nintendo. Yeah, we can talk about stick drift. Everyone's dealing with that. My PS5 controller's got stick drift. Gamebird, you know all about stick drift. You started a company that fixes stick drift. So,
Yeah, it's called Stick Fix.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard of it, go check out my channel. 1-800 Stick Fix. I swear to you, it will fix your sticks.
yeah, I gotta send my PS. You work on PlayStation controllers also?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, I gotta send in one of my controllers after we finish beating. What do you call it? The new
Split
game-
Fiction.
Split Fiction. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
we're on,
playing it too.
yeah, it's great. We're on
yeah,
chapter
It's so
3.
fun.
Send it in. They'll fix it. They make it. They even send you a temporary controller to use while you're waiting for your stick fix.
I didn't
But
know
yeah,
that.
just a great company. They'll take care of you. They'll take care of your sticks. I had a broken stick that I found outside. They fixed it.
Really?
It wasn't even my stick.
Like from a
Like,
tree
that's
or
the
something?
craziest part. Yeah, from a tree.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
So it's all sticks can be
Yeah.
fixed. I had
Any
no
stick.
idea.
Nice.
Okay.
Even if it looks like a stick.
Wow, I'm gonna have to look and see if there's anything else I can get fixed then.
1-800.
Yeah. It could save your marriage. Prime, welcome back. We were talking about, I don't know if you want to chime in on this topic or if you want to keep moving forward, but we were just talking about Miyamoto, the godfather of gaming, all the things that made him so special, he means to us as Nintendo fans, special memories of him, what he's done for Nintendo, and how he'll be remembered, as well as, what does Nintendo look like without him. You know, I made a joke when we were discussing it, how I picture Miyamoto being the guy that even after retirement is randomly walking into the office, you know, all old and decrepit till his final days. And they're just like, dude, Miyamoto, what are you doing here, man? You're retired. Go home. But thoughts on Miyamoto, what he means to you? What do you think it's like moving forward? I think we all agree he's irreplaceable, and the shoes to fill are insurmountable in size. But thoughts?
So first off, Miyamoto's a legend. Mad respect. You know, he means a lot to my childhood, a lot to even as an adult. Just it's hard to describe what he's meant to me as a gamer and even as a person with some of the quote. I mean, we had a quote in the prior topic about, you know, about adults and being a kid. And, you know, I have so much respect for his outlook on life, his outlook on video games, his outlook on the company, how in every situation, he always seems to approach everything with such kindness. Obviously, I don't know what that's like when he's flipping the tea tables and all that. That might not be so kind, but that's fine because that's all part of him trying to make sure that the best possible product gets made. And look, Nintendo's obviously set up well for whenever he walks off into the sunset. I kind of get this feeling he's a lifer. He might just be there till the day he dies. I don't know.
That's what I said.
But you know, obviously he doesn't do a lot of game development anymore. Is not that hardly involved. He does do advice and has a position where he overlooks some stuff, but for the most part, you know, he hasn't been directing games and producing games himself in a long time. So Nintendo's kind of already replaced that aspect, and now he's being entrusted to get their movie stuff going. And that's obviously gone really well with the Mario movie. We'll see with the Zelda one. We'll see with the next Mario movie if that continues to go well. But obviously, I'm assuming in him doing this, there's also somebody probably shadowing him at Nintendo that's kind of learning like what he's looking for the movies. And all. Because I mean, look, Mario and Zelda makes sense. That's what they're doing. Those are his babies. He made them. Yeah. If you're going to make a movie franchise, you're going to make sure that he's still there to have that input. You know, it's just like, you know, you wouldn't do Game of Thrones without the input of George R.R. Martin, right? You're not going to do the Harry Potter stuff without the input of J.K. Rowling. So, like, you're not going to make a Mario or Zelda without the input of the guy who created the damn thing. But obviously, you know, these are forever franchises, all the ones I just talked about pretty much at this point. So someday those people aren't going to be around to do that. So you have to have people learning from them on how to keep this stuff going. You know, I could get into Star Wars for a second, but I'll pass up on that because we're just focused on Nintendo. But point is, because like that's a little weird one with anyways. But when we get into like Miyamoto, I again, you know, I think he's going to be a lifer till the day he dies. I think that's just the way he is. I pretty much think at this point he's got carte blanche to do whatever the hell he feels like doing. Yeah. Work as much or as little as he wants. I know he travels a lot right now for his work. I'm sure someday that'll slow down because, you know, his body, he'll realize I just can't keep traveling so much. But no, Miyamoto is, I mean, it's not just him. You know, we have all these other legends as well. And they're all going to move on someday. Yeah. You know, Aonuma's, I think Aonuma will move on from Zelda someday. This might be, I've been of mind that this is his last generation of Zelda ever. I think, I don't know I don't know that he's going to retire, but I think he's going to get promoted and into a new role at Nintendo. Probably still doing something with games, but you know, more of the Miyamoto role is what I think he might get promoted to, and then he might actually get to oversee other games or have other ideas and input on other aspects of Nintendo. And I think that's because Fujibayashi, I think, has been getting trained up to kind of take over Zelda. And it's just whenever Aonuma decides that it's time, because Aonuma is going to be like 69 or 70 at the end of this generation.
Oh, yeah, at the end of the generation, yeah.
So, you know, he's already talked about how he'd like to make something besides Zelda, and he's already been more and more hands off with Zelda and trying to let directors do their thing. He's still there. He's still flipping tea tables and making key decisions. But like Fujibayashi's like, hey man, I already had when they were interviewing for Tears of the Kingdom, he's like, Fujibayashi's like, yeah, I've already got ideas for the next Zelda. I just haven't ran it by him yet. And Aonuma's like, wait, what? like Aonuma's like, yeah, Futobayashi just automatically assumes I'm running the next Zelda game. It's my ideas. I'm doing what I want. I haven't even told this guy anything yet.
Yeah.
So like, that's how they've been setting it up, where he's let more and more hands off so he can eventually get promoted. And Aonuma, I don't know if he'll be quite the lifer that Miyamoto is, but I know that he wants to do a little bit more than what he's doing with Zelda. So, and this is true of like everyone, that the Tezuka and all the rest, like they're all in their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Some are in their late 50s. They might go into one more generation, because Nintendo's got that incredible, as was brought up, like 98% retention rate. Like these people are going to be there till the end for the most part. It's pretty rare to see someone leave Nintendo, especially from their Japanese outlets. So even Koji Kondo. What a legend.
Legend.
What a legend. Like, and so a lot of people go, oh, the Zelda. I'm like, dude, go look at his credits. He's in fucking everything at Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like that guy. Then the incredible composes.
He's a mad genius.
He is.
And he might be composing music till the day he dies too. I don't know, but I already know he's in more of a supervisory role over their general music production at Nintendo right now. So I think it's just a lot of those. This is probably the last generation where we have all of them there. I think a bunch of them will either be retired, or we don't want to talk about it. It could pass away by the time we get to the next generation. And then the next generation after this will be the first generation. We don't have all these legends anymore. And that's going to be, I think for us fans, it'll feel different. But I think the core of what Nintendo is as a company is pretty intact. I don't think, I think at this point, with or without these people, that Nintendo would be okay. They're very good at training people up to understand the essence of what Mario is and what Zelda is and what Nintendo is as a company. You can see it even the way like Furukawa's a fairly young CEO, and in the way that he talks every time he's interviewed. You could tell that he came from accounting. He's a numbers guy. He might have a different way of thinking. He's obviously different than Iwata, who is very personality forward. But even he's sitting there the way he talks about Nintendo and the way he talks about their games, even though he's never made one himself, very much, hey, that's consistent with what Nintendo's been saying about games for 40 years. So he gets it. He grew up in it. He learned. So that's what I feel like the rest of Nintendo's like. So as sad as it's going to be when these people retire or sadly pass away, and pass away, because that's probably gonna. I hope I outlive some of these people. I am only in my 30s. Right? It'd be really sad if I die before someone in their 70s. But I do think that enjoy, for those of us that grew up with this. I think for people who grew up with Switch, it may not be as big of a deal because these aren't as big a household names to them. Because again, they're not that heavily involved. Aonuma is still the face of Zelda, so that could be true for the Zelda stuff, maybe. But I think for those of us that have been here pretty much from the beginning, enjoy this generation. These faces of Nintendo that we're seeing. When we see what was it, Takahashi or Tezuka or whatever, when they're presenting the Switch 2 hardware on April 2nd, enjoy. Could be the last time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've been lucky enough, like you said, a lot of us have been there since the beginning, watching their babies evolve, watching where Mario started, where Mario is today, watching where Zelda started, where Zelda is today. Nate, I want to ask you one extra bonus that I had everyone do, and then Eric, I want to get your last piece on Aonuma and Zelda, because we didn't get to chat about that. I asked everyone if they could give us your favorite Mario game in recognition of Miyamoto, and then your favorite Aonuma era Zelda, which I think I know what yours is, and I'm sure a lot of the chat does, but just as a way to acknowledge them and the experiences that they gave us.
Very interesting question, because my favorite Mario is Mario Odyssey, but I don't think of that as a Miyamoto Mario.
Sure.
When I think of Miyamoto Mario's, I think it really just I go back to a lot of the old classics, but it's got to be Mario 64. Just that transition to 3D, and just how amazingly they brought that game forward and became the face of 3D platforming. just utterly amazing. So that's like my favorite Miyamoto Mario. We talk about the Aonuma Zelda era. Obviously, you go, oh, it's Tears of the Kingdom. I'm like, yeah, but I kind of give a lot of credit to the Fujibayashi.
Sure.
I feel like for Aonuma, it really goes back to the game that got him the gig, Majora's Mask. Oh, baby. That is his baby. Him and God, I'm forgetting the name of the other guy. The two guys that had spearheaded that program. Like that was his trial. They went to Miyamoto with this idea for a game and they said, you got 1 year. And in 1 year they created a masterpiece.
I was literally raving about Majora's Mask and how ahead of its time. Just the time mechanics, fast forward, rewind, slow, back a day, forward a day, back 3 days, and then the time cycle on the N64, NPCs being on a time cycle and the side quests. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more, Nate.
Yeah, so that is the one that whenever I think about Numa, I go, man, Majora's Mask. And yes, obviously Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, big ones for him as well. Some of the handheld ones as well. But it's just that Majora's Mask. It always bounces around in my top 5 games for Zelda, and man, I mean it predates so much that Zelda has done with side quests and stuff since day-night cycles and everything. I so love that game so much.
Yep.
So when I think about Numa, that's like the coup de grace for me, and it's funny because he's had more successful games, but it's just but that was him. He was the director. He was it was his idea. That's incredible. It's not like the modern Zeldas where it's really Fujibayashi's ideas with Aonuma keeping everything on the keeping everything together, making sure this is a Zelda game. But yeah. Anyways, that's where I stand with that. Eric, what is it that you wanted to get in here?
Yeah. I haven't played a whole lot of Zelda, so I mean, but I do know Aonuma's name just because growing up with Nate and things like that, and I do know how big of an impact that he's had with Nintendo, with Zelda, things like that. So yeah, I mean, we may have him around for another system, but you never know. So it'll be interesting to see what the future brings for Nintendo with a lot of these big names getting up there in age.
Also, favorite Aonuma moment, E3 2014, snaps and the Breath of the Wild overworld pops on the screen. Oh my God. Aonuma. Oh my God. I had to change my pants in that moment. So thank you for that moment. The snap and boom, there's this giant world of Hyrule. Oh my God. I'll never forget that. All right. Are we ready to move on?
I think so.
Let's move on. You guys all did really well. I'm proud of each and every one of you
today. Dad. Thanks, Dad.
Love you guys.
You want me to go or do you want to go ahead?
You go, bud.
Okay. So I have one small topic and then kind of one that's a little bit bigger. I did see in the news that the Nintendo Switch 2, according to the FCC, will have NFC and Wi-Fi 6 capabilities. Are we surprised about that at all?
I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised you didn't read the Google Doc since that's in my topic.
Well, you know what? Nobody cares.
Oh, dude, outed on stream.
I told you.
Brutal.
Well, I thought you read the Google Doc.
No, I didn't at that point. No, I read my thing. No,
you're embarrassing us in front of the guest, Eric.
All right,
we're real professionals around here. All right, so what's your bigger topic?
My actual topic is it's been, I don't know if it's been confirmed and or it's still a rumor that Xbox is going to be coming out with a handheld. They have partnered with OEM for an Xbox branded gaming handheld, surprisingly slated for this year. I don't know if this is confirmed or not.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor. Codename Canon. The game handheld will look unmistakably Xbox.
Is it Keenan or
Keenan.
Canon?
So
I thought you were about to say codename Ken.
it was Keenan, and then Tom Henderson he tweeted a couple of hours ago and said it's Kenan, not Keenan.
Okay.
Like
It's spelled Kennan. I wouldn't think that it would be spelled that way, but I don't know.
he corrected it and said it's with one E.
So
Yeah,
fair enough.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
it's gonna look unmistakably Xbox and complete with the official Xbox guide button. Woohoo! Given this partner device similar to Lenovo's Steam OS partnership with Valve, I expect this. Reading off this,
I know what you're reading off of.
Expect this handheld to be more PC oriented. Canon is almost definitely running full Windows, putting Microsoft Store and PC Game Pass front and center, alongside the ability to install things like Steam. So, with this rumored Xbox handheld, do we think that this is going to have an impact on Switch 2 at all? Sales wise, is it gonna, is it gonna have any effect on it?
I'll go first since, again, didn't read the Google Doc. This was part of my topic.
Well, fuck.
It's okay. We'll do this on its own. It's fine.
Oh,
Eric, come back.
I'll be back. But no. So I don't think this is going to have any impact this year because this system is handheld PC, right? So it's partnering with another handheld PC company, kind of like Valve did with Lenovo for SteamOS. So it's exciting for PC because it's creating probably a more customized version of Windows for the handheld PC space, which it desperately needs because Windows is really terrible in that space. But setting that aside, I just find it really interesting when we look at this because it kind of signifies the future of Xbox. Like they're going to be doing the PC space, right? Which makes sense. That's Xbox. But then part of the rumor was in 2027 they're going to release a dedicated Xbox handheld.
Yep. And
that's the one that's the Switch 2 competitor. This is more just, hey, we're in the PC space. We're trying to make Windows more friendly. We're trying to, because right now, look, SteamOS is the face of Steam Deck. It's the face of the handheld PC space. Microsoft wants to be like, hey, but we dominate PC with Windows. Why can't we have something viable that's usable and fun? And I think it's a good thing for PC gamers because while Windows isn't the greatest thing ever, if they have a handheld version that's nice, you get your Steam, you get your Xbox, you get your Epic Games, you get your Battle.net. Right now on Steam Deck, you get Steam, and that is it. You have games on other platforms. You have to reboot the system into a new partition that you hopefully have Windows or Linux installed on. So it's not like meant for more than that singular platform. Whereas when you put Windows on there, you can have all those platforms come together. But the new Xbox in 2027, I think that's the fascinating one because if they go hybrid and drop a dock with that sumbitch, that's going to be, and it's 2027, so it'll probably have newer technology in it than what Switch 2 has. That to me is going to be really interesting because that would also leave PlayStation 6 as the only traditional box under your TV. So that one I do find a little fascinating. Who else wants to chime in on this one?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I got plenty to say too. So I will echo some of the things you said. Like, as far as the handheld that's coming out this year in 2026, 25. I'm not super interested, right? Because again, this is just going to be a Xbox branded handheld made by another company, and details are coming out pretty quick with this. Like I just read that it looks like it's going to be Asus or Asus, however you want to pronounce it, ASUS. It looks like that's who they're going to be partnering with for that handheld. So I don't know if that's new news yet. I think that was updated like 2 hours ago. But look, we have other handhelds that do that. You know, there's other things we have. It's like I don't know what the draw will be. Obviously, I need to see what the draw is going to be. Microsoft is going to tell us it's their job to sell this machine. It's their job to explain to us why we should buy this now instead of waiting for their dedicated handheld. Without seeing anything right now, I would say I'm not really interested. I do have my Retroid Pocket 5 that I can play Xbox games on right now. And I already own that. And it looks great. Streams great. Played Indiana Jones on it. Looks awesome. So again, we'll see what happens. As far as competition for Nintendo, yeah, I think there will be a little bit of competition. I'm not going to say there won't be any. I think it's mostly going to be targeted, though, towards the Steam Deck market and the ROG Ally, everything else, right? This is completely different. We all know that people buy Nintendo consoles to play Nintendo games. None of those people are going anywhere. Yeah, I mean, they're not going anywhere. And not only that, but you look at it in the way that Switch 2 is going to be getting Microsoft games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the best. I think that's going to be the best place to play Xbox portably. Because you get Nintendo games and you get Microsoft games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the best place to play an Xbox. So again, I'm not sure that it's really going to encroach on Nintendo sales. I'm sure it will just a little bit, but it's going to be very small. I will say that I am very happy Microsoft is doing a handheld. We've known this rumor for a long time, well over a year. But I'm happy they're doing it. It sounds like they want to get their name out there in the handheld space immediately, right? Which is why they're partnering with another company to get this out there now. And then they'll have their dedicated one in 2027, which that should tell you a lot about the company's direction, right? Mm-hmm. The writing's on the wall. We've talked about this a lot on this podcast about the direction Microsoft is going in. We talked about it months before it was even a thing that we thought they were going to go third party. And they are. So everything, we've actually been really spot on about everything with Microsoft. And so again, I'll give another prediction that I think they know when it comes to the console space that the future is going to be in hybrid. And the one that comes out in 2027, I would presume that comes with a dock. Or you can at least buy the dock just like you can buy a Steam dock. You know, the BenQ GR10 dock that I just reviewed on my channel, that will work with it. You know, there's options from accessory makers that's going to work with that are HDMI 2.1. So whether it comes with a dock or not, it's going to be dockable, right? So that's where I'm at with that. I will be more excited about what comes in 2027. And I wish them the best because we need the competition. Competition is good for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be quick with my response to this one. I think a handheld I think it makes sense for Microsoft. And I actually think it's a great idea. Microsoft has obviously made a huge push with Game Pass, and I think Game Pass is amazing. Whether you love it or hate it, or whether you're interested in playing Game Pass or not, the consumer-friendly value of the service and getting major AAA big games, first and third-party games, day and date on the service for like a low monthly fee and having that huge library, having that on the go at your fingertips is going to be a fantastic thing for them. And yeah, obviously, you know, you can get Game Pass on the Steam Deck and stuff, but to have a console that's actually built for it to just boot up normally, be optimized to play the games the way they should play and feel without having to do any troubleshooting or some of the weird quirks that kind of come along with Steam.
With
I mean,
optimization, right?
yeah, optimization, or I can't tell you the number of times where I purchase a game on Steam and the game just doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll troubleshoot for hours and I'll be like, well, screw it. I guess I'm not playing this game.
Yeah. Console gamers don't want to fiddle with that.
Yeah. And I'm like, I enjoy playing games on my my PC from time to time. But my preference is console because I want to sit back. I want to get comfy on the couch, have my cat curled up on my lap.
Yeah.
And
I agree with you. That's literally
and
what I put in my video, not to interrupt, but on the doc, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to sit right here where I'm at right now. With my monitors where I work all day. Like, I don't want to sit here and stare at these same monitors playing video games in the same chair when I have
kills the vibe.
It does, man. I got a couch out here. I got the Philips Hue lights set up. I've had those for like 5 years. I love using them. I got the surround sound. You know, you got the bigger TV. I want to go out there and play.
Right.
So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I love Game Pass. I bought a Series S. I think within the first 2 years of Xbox being on the market, and I don't play it. I rarely play it. I rarely use Game Pass. That being said, I think it's a great service, and if I had it portably, because I don't own a Steam Deck, if I had it portably, I'd probably play it way more. As far as like how that's going to affect Nintendo, I don't think it's going to have much effect at all, even if they come out with a hybrid system. And the big reason for that is Microsoft's in a tough place because they're in the same place kind of Nintendo was with Wii U. And, you know, Nintendo captured lightning in a bottle with the Switch. That's really hard to do, especially when your brand is kind of soured in the eyes of consumers and people don't find your products desirable anymore. So I think they have a tough hill to climb. But secondly, we already know Microsoft's new strategy. It's everything's an Xbox.
Yep.
Play Xbox games everywhere. They're coming to PlayStation. They're coming to Nintendo. They're going to be on all the, Steam Deck and everything else. I imagine we're going to start seeing Game Pass on more devices and more places. Who knows if we might get some special curated form of Game Pass that lands on Switch 2 or even PS5 or PS6, down the line. We have no idea. They're wanting to get as many people to sign up for Game Pass as possible and get it on as many devices as possible. Nintendo makes some of, if not the most amazing exclusives in the business, and you can only play Nintendo exclusives on Nintendo. You can't play them on PC, and that's not going to change for a while. Nintendo's crushing it. Their sales are through the roof. Switch is an unstoppable force. Based on analysts, what they're projecting for Switch 2, their momentum ain't slowing down anytime soon. So they're at the height of their popularity. Microsoft is hanging on by an ass hair, to put it kindly, right now. And I think a handheld will be good for the company. I think it's the right move. I don't think it hurts Nintendo, and I don't think it's direct competition. If anything, it's gonna maybe push Sony to be like, well, we need a handheld too. We need to. Our competition needs to dominate the space too.
I got asked a good question in my chat by Miguel Lopez, asking how much I thought it would cost. And I think it's a good question because it goes into your original question as it being, is this competition, right? And more or less, like I replied with, it depends. Like, if Microsoft is going after the PC handheld market, which is what I think they're going to do, then you would think it would be priced along those lines of the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, etc. So somewhere between probably $500 and $700. But if they're trying to go after Nintendo's market, then you'd think it would be priced somewhere along those lines. But from everything I've heard, I don't know about you guys, but it sounds like it's going to be a very much a PC handheld, a handheld Windows machine, which you'd think would be around those prices, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which means we're really not going after Nintendo's market.
I mean, it kind of depends. You can get a Steam Deck for as cheap as $400 to $450. So, I mean, if the idea is to be like, well, Steam Deck dominates the market, we want to make sure we can get a slice of that. They're going to need to come in at $400 to $450. But that might not happen until their 2027 device. I don't really know.
Yeah, that's what I would be expecting. 2027 device.
When they control everything and there's not like profit sharing with another company. But we'll see. Obviously, we have no idea. This thing hasn't been announced yet. I'm not really shocked about it. Microsoft's a PC company. Like, surprised that they weren't in on this long time ago, to be honest.
I was surprised they haven't done a cloud, like a portable cloud device by this point.
I was just going to ask you
Cloud,
that.
which they like. If you want to pick one thing that Microsoft has like an advantage on right now, they've been working on cloud longer than Sony's dabbled in cloud. Nintendo's obviously not really doing much with it. They have the biggest head start of the three competitors with cloud technology. I'm surprised they're not trying to. And maybe this first portable will be a cloud device. Who knows?
I could see it being that. The amount of money they've spent in R&D on cloud technology is the most of any technology company. They've spent more than Apple, which was a direct competitor. But if you look at the pie chart, I talked about it on a podcast maybe 6-9 months ago, not this one, on a different podcast. And they've spent the most money out of anyone by far on cloud, which is, I think, was just why it was brought up as well in court with Activision, purchasing Activision. There was a lot of discussion about a cloud monopoly. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do there. I would expect it to be a cloud machine, though. The first one, at least.
Well, technically, all could be cloud machines.
Yeah, but not being able to have the actual games,
Sure,
on the handheld.
Well, we'll see.
Stored on there.
Because the rumor is that it's going to just be them teaming up with a company that already makes handheld PCs. So we'll.
I think it's Asus. I just read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know because nothing's been announced yet. It'll probably be announced this summer at some point, is what I'm assuming. More for a holiday drop. Probably alongside one of Microsoft's major games this year. They have a few of them announced. All right, let's get to our last topic, the Switch 2 one. Look, let's not act like there's a bunch of crazy Switch 2 news out there. There's not a bunch of crazy stuff, of course. April 2nd's the crazy day. 21 days, baby. At the time of recording of the show, anyways. There's a few things that have happened, though. One I find interesting is this theory on the release date. And that's all it is a theory, right? We don't know when this thing's releasing. We've heard May, we've heard June, but we don't really know. We've heard July. Yeah, no one really knows, right? Except for Nintendo. And even the retailers, according to that Sean guy who was on the Kit and Krista podcast, they're not even going to know till the end of this month. They'll know like the week before the event. So pay attention to retailer leaks around the end of the month. The ones right now don't really matter so much, a bunch of placeholder dates. Now, that being said, Mario Day happened, right? Surprisingly not a topic this week. Why? Because Nintendo didn't really do anything. Nothing exciting anyways. Now, this is not to say a Mario Kart Lego set is not exciting, and it's an adult Lego set. It's rated 18+. That's just because of the difficulty of the build. It's a very difficult build, which means it's expensive and high quality, right? And it's meant to be a showcase piece. You set it on your shelf. It's not meant to be like a race around with a motor or anything. Or it's got sound effects, but that's about it. All right, cool. They announced that on Mario Day. It's coming out on May 15th. Now, the very interesting thing about this whole thing is May 15th is a Thursday. That's Nintendo's new release date for stuff, is a Thursday. May 15th is also in the middle of those 2 weeks where Nintendo does not have any Nintendo Switch 2 experiences. Will have done like 6 straight weekends of Switch 2 experiences and then nothing, right? On top of that, what's the only game they've shown for Switch 2? Mario
Kart.
Kart. So is it conceivable they would launch a new Mario Kart the same day as a new Mario Kart Lego set that's only made for adults anyways? It's not like it's going to hurt the sales of the Lego set. We've seen the Lego sets. They sell out. They always sell out day one. So just day one. I know, guys, like it's easy to get some Mario Lego sets, easy to get the Animal Crossing ones. I get it. We're talking about day one. They're always sold out day one. Lego keeps talking about how this Nintendo partnership, man, fastest selling new Lego sets since Star Wars. It's like, well, yeah. people have been thinking Nintendo and Lego would go together well for decades. So
I'm waiting for that Nintendo Lego game at this point. Like,
Yeah,
where is it? People,
Switch 2, baby. Switch 2.
Yep.
It's gonna happen. So obviously, the question for this part of it is, do we think that is the launch day? Why or why not? I'm gonna go to Stash here because I know he's been very curious about this May 15th date.
Yeah, so to me, everything points to May 15th. And I've been saying this for a long time. We got asked on Twitter. We had 4 options on what day we thought it was going to release, and none of those options were May 15th, so I had to do a write-in. I'm like, it's May 15th. Just makes sense. And it goes back to when the Nintendo Experience dates were first announced. And immediately everyone's like, well, the last Nintendo Experience date is, this date, so it can't be any earlier than that. And honestly, to myself, I immediately called bullshit on that. I'm like, there's no way. Like that's not going to be the reason why. Because I know for a fact that Korea didn't get the Switch 1 at the same time the other regions did. And so in Seattle, the Nintendo Switch 1 didn't come out till December 3rd, 2017. And of course, we got it March 2017. So it came out 9 months later. So I don't care when they're getting their Switch 2 Experience event. I personally believe that has nothing to do with the major markets, which is the US, US, Canada, Japan, and UK, and Australia. That's where it launches first. Nintendo's been doing this for a long time. So when they say they're having a worldwide launch, that is what they mean by worldwide. So that's the first thing I look at is, okay, that doesn't mean we're not going to get the Switch because of these dates. Then you look at that huge gap from May 11th to, what was it, May 31st? There's no Switch 2 Experience dates. Why? Why do you take 20 days off? Come on. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why. There's a reason why we're not doing any Switch 2 Experience dates. There's a reason why that all the Switch 2 Experience dates in the major markets are done at that time. And then they go on break. It's to launch the console. There's a reason why Doom is releasing on a Thursday when Microsoft releases games on a Tuesday. They always do. Why do you suddenly now change it? All the retailers know that you have a set schedule that your games come out on Tuesdays. Suddenly it's coming out on a Thursday now. And it just happens to be that same Thursday, May 15th. I think it makes sense to have the Switch 2 come out a week before Donkey Kong Country at Universal. That's happening on May 22nd. I don't think you want to do it on the same day. Because why would you do a grand opening of a park when people are supposed to be in line trying to buy their Switch 2? You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're going to have them there. Unless you have stock at Universal to sell to everybody. And I don't know that that's going to happen. So I look at it that way.
That'd be really
as well.
cool, though.
It would be badass.
That'd be really cool, though.
I think it would be a great way.
Park.
Yeah, I think it would be, honestly, I think it would be really smart. I don't see them doing it, unfortunately, but I think it would be a smart move. But I think you get it out before the Universal. So now you're in the headlines May 15th. You own that week. You own it. But guess what? Now you own the next week too. With Universal and Nintendo, I think Kid and Krista probably, I think they talked about it before, how Nintendo really loves to like own the calendar and dominate the headlines as long as they can and try to really spread out that length. So it makes a lot of sense. Also, May 15th, it's like right when school's getting out. I think it's a very good time. May 22nd, again, that's for DK. Fast forward one more week, now you're into Memorial Day weekend. People are out of town. They're not in line buying a Switch. You want them to have Switch while they're traveling, because that's free word of mouth advertising everywhere. Whether you're in the car, you're on the plane, people see it on the plane. Oh, is that Switch 2? I haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean? Suddenly, all the owners are selling the console for Nintendo for free out of just pure excitement. Then you get into June. Look, we did GBA in June, and we talked about that, right? Last week. I think June's fine too, and if it's June, great. But I don't see it launching in July. I don't know that we're going to get into August or September, anything past that. I think it's going to be really May or June, but May 15th just makes too much damn sense. There's a lot of reasons for it. And if you're going to have that window from like May 11th to May 31st, those 20 days off, what Thursday would make the most sense? Is it the week of Memorial Day? No, I don't think that makes sense. Is it the week of DK? No, you got to have the headline for DK. The 15th makes sense. You stop on the 11th with the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, and then you literally jump right into it. So everyone in all the major markets have played it. Now you can go buy it right now, 4 days later. I just feel like it makes too much sense. I'm going based on logic, okay? So if I'm being logical, which this is how my brain works, May 15th makes too much sense.
All right.
The end.
Scott or Alyssa, it's been a bit since you chatted. What do you think of the Switch 2 nonsense?
Well, I think May 15th makes a lot of sense as well. Like the big gap.
Oh my God, are we all on the 15th? What's happening?
It just, yeah, because like you said, there's that big gap there, and they hit all the major markets at that point. That it seems like yeah, what else would you be doing? Like you want to kind of keep the hype going. If you have like a gap like that in the experiences, then like people, I don't know. But also, I was watching Andres Restart did a video about the Lego set too, and he went through the dates, and he noticed that Lego sets usually, well, not usually, most of them launch on the 1st of the month. And
Yep.
I forget what the other thing one was, but
it was the day of the week.
Yeah.
It was a day of the week, Alyssa, because they usually release on, like you said, the 1st of the month and on weekends.
Yeah, weekends was the other thing. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought this up.
This one's a Thursday. So like that's like another thing. So it's just like these little things keep like, that's interesting.
The breadcrumbs.
That's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
Are we leading to somewhere?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I retweeted this as well when the Lego Mario Kart date came out. And I literally said, there's that date again, May 15th.
Mhm.
It's releasing on May 15th. If you buy it, from the Lego store. If you buy it from Amazon, it's a little bit later. But what are the odds that you want to make it, of all the different Lego things you can do, you make it Mario Kart? It's a Mario Kart Lego set. It could have been a different Mario. It could have been a different Nintendo character, but it's Mario Kart. And we all know Mario Kart's going to be the launch title. And you release it on a Thursday. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen Andres' video, check it out, because he brings up a lot of good points. And that was another one, because I didn't know that the Lego stuff was on the weekends only. I knew about May 15th with it coming out that date, and I'm like, there's another reason why. But then when I watched his video, I'm like, oh my God, there's another reason now that I didn't even know about. So thanks for bringing that up, Alyssa.
Yeah, I've been pretty married to the idea of Switch 2 launching in May since we got that trailer, like the first reveal trailer for Switch 2, and they announced the Switch 2 experience that was going to be coming up. May to me just makes so much sense. Now, I don't know if I'm willing to bet on May 15th, to be honest, but the way I look at it is April 2nd, we get the big blowout. Then we get the experience where people get to go and get hands-on, all the news outlets that are able to go, people who are, YouTubers and whoever who are able to go and get their hands on and feel that hype and excitement about this new hardware. Maybe they're going to be testing out mouse mode, different games. Who knows how many games will be there, but it's going to be peak hype. And I feel like there was a pretty quick turnover with the Switch 1 from full reveal to release. I say they tighten that up and they launch Switch 2 at like peak excitement. Don't let the excitement taper as like other big titles are coming out and new news is coming out. What the state of plays and Xbox events and Summer Games Fest. Don't let Switch 2 kind of, not that it's going to become an afterthought, but don't let other things start to get mixed up in that news wave. Let people get blown away by this April 2nd presentation. See all the big games that are coming out this year. We know we're going to get a taste. Nintendo always, even if they're like, oh, it's just 2025. We know it's going to bleed into 2026. They always do it. It always bleeds into the following year. So we're gonna be seeing like 12 months of Switch 2 games easily. And so keep that momentum going. People are hyped. We got the games. We get all the cool bells and whistles, features of the console. Now it's gonna be in your hands, and in just a month's time, you'll be able to play Switch 2.
Yeah, I'd also like to mention, I always try to look at the video game release calendar and just kind of mentally like plan out what I might be doing at that time as far as reviews and everything. And I did look at the May calendar. There's like 11 games coming out in May, which is weird. It's extremely light. Like the calendar in May is light. June has 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
It's March. July has 2 games. One of them we just heard about, Tony Hawk 3 and 4. You know what I'm saying? Like the calendar is extremely light. Even when you look at this, like May 21st, you got Fantasy Life. Again, that's another thing you can link to Switch. But I feel like the calendar is so light in May because it's missing all the launch games.
There's a big drop.
Yeah, there's a huge drop. And when I saw this, I was just like, that's weird. Like a lot of the games here I know are coming to PS5. Like there's a Lost Souls Aside as a PS5 exclusive, right? So I'm like, yeah, all right, you can take that off the list. Dune Awakening is a PC exclusive. So I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, yeah, there's really only a handful of console games. This is weird. So again, I think there's a reason why. Just like there's got to be a reason why we only have Xenoblade on the 20th and then nothing else on the calendar.
Do you guys agree that launching at like that peak hype, not waiting too long after the blowout of information is a right time to do it, and not to let that kind of excitement taper off? Not that it would for hardcore Nintendo fans, but obviously as we approach summer, all the companies are going to be announcing big stuff.
Yeah. 100%, dude. I think talked about this many times here on the podcast that I think it will be a much, much shorter announcement to release for the console because the consumers changed dramatically. Like we are in a I want it right now era.
FOMO.
Everyone wants things immediately. They don't want to
Scalper's
wait.
paradise.
Yeah. So it makes sense that we'd get it a lot quicker. And I talked about it like with the latest Apple phone announcement to in your hands within 10 days.
Mm.
You know what I mean? People want their stuff right now. And I think Nintendo's going to change that because, again, why do you let it taper off? You put in all this work and effort behind the scenes to tell everybody about it, to create this great Nintendo Direct and get everyone excited and hyped, to only then say, oh yeah, and you can get it, 5 months from now or 4 months from now. People be like, what? I want it now, dude. Like, why are you telling me about it now if it ain't coming out till the fall? So the consumer's changed big time over the years. And that's why I think it does make sense to not let it taper off.
Also, like, a lot of the rumors have like June. I think June is obviously a possibility.
That's the farthest.
Not going to rule it out, but I do think, the thing about this May, whether it's May 15th or just May at all, is it's your own window. Because June's going to have all those events and all the game announcements. And heck, that might even be when Microsoft announces this supposed rumored handheld. Nothing's happening in May. Just make it your month. Own it. It's right before kids get out of school as well. So you get the initial sold out by the adult gamers and all the hype. And then the kids get out of school and they're like, man, I want that. Look at that. This person showed up at school. Like one person in the whole school with a Switch 2 playing this new Mario Kart. I want that. Like it's going to be. I think May just makes a lot of sense for a number of reasons. But again, we've talked about this in the past. Like hey, it made sense to reveal it last year in March. Like things making sense doesn't necessarily mean that's what Nintendo's going to do.
Exactly.
There's a big difference between what we think makes sense versus Nintendo being like, hey, it's coming in September. Have a good day. And we're like, oh fuck.
Yep. My logic is not the same as Nintendo's. That's
See you for the June
that's
Direct.
just the way it is.
See you for the June Direct. That's all I'm saying. What are we doing? So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the big thing is new president. Maybe he thinks different. Every piece of hardware that he's announced has obviously only been revisions, but he's literally announced and released shortly after. If you want to look at any sort of patterns, it's hard to tell because he's never launched a new generation. So we'll see what happens there. Eric, you got any thoughts on this? May 15th, is that the day, baby?
I want it to be, because the sooner the better.
Well, I want it to be April 2nd. Shout out that day.
I mean,
Well, don't forget, guys, Nintendo's the king of curveballs. For all we know, they could be like, and it releases May 26, 2026.
oh,
Never know. Could be a new strategy.
Ain't no way.
Called extended wait time.
Oh god.
It's super blue ocean.
Yeah.
No one else is doing it.
Yeah.
Super blue ocean.
Jesus.
So let's talk about Switch 2 stuff. Obviously, there's always rumors out there. And look, this last week wasn't an exception. We got some stuff from good old Nash Weedle over here coming in here, dropping some stuff. So this first one here just is going to do a quick translation. Just pay attention to the magnetism of the Switch 2 Joy-Cons will have more functions than just connecting them to the console. My first thought when he said this, if this is true, which it's just factually true, well, no shit. It's going to connect to every accessory ever made. So there's going to be a new wheel. The magnets will connect to that. There's going to be some new workout game. The magnets are going to connect to whatever accessory that is. I mean, yeah, your magnets might even connect to your fridge. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, this doesn't tell me anything other than it's magnets. They're going to connect to things.
I'm going to stick it to my car and pull out the dent.
Yeah, right. But then he comes in with this one response to say one feature that a patent includes is that thanks to the use of magnetism, the buttons could have travel. I think it's an interesting one. Magnetism drives the button to the initial position so that when we press it, it exerts a small resistance and gives it travel. We'll see if they apply it. One thing I see about this is the magnets, as we are aware, are in the SL and SR button, right? There's not a lot of room for travel there anyways. So I don't think this applies to this. But could they do something like that to basically create a new version of analog triggers on the Pro controller with magnets?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please.
Like found a new way to do it that's a little bit less mechanical because it's using magnets instead. I think that would be a very interesting use case. I don't know that it applies to this controller because as far as we're aware from based on the patents and things we've seen, there's no magnets in the trigger area. It's just the SL, SR buttons. But that would be really, really interesting. I mean, I'm hoping there's also magnets in the control stick area. I would like some Hall stick control sticks, but we haven't seen the inside of the control sticks yet on any of the patents. So I don't know. I just want to get you guys' quick thoughts on magnets. What's Nintendo doing with them besides clap? Do we know about the clap? Do we know about the clap? Wait a second.
I don't know.
Did that come out right? Anyways, what are you guys thinking?
I think the obvious answer would be that they'll find some way to incorporate the magnets outside of just attaching it. Whether it's through some weird peripheral with I mean, they sold us cardboard, dude.
You can wait till we go to the Q&A.
Okay, yeah. During the Q&A, I think Eric might be having something a little spicy over here.
Oh,
he's got to prove his spice lordness.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant. Never mind.
No,
Anyways,
that too.
No.
How you doing?
I thought you meant down.
Well, I mean,
Anyways.
does this give you a hint on what's going on? No.
God, this got way worse. I'm gonna send you a discount code for Stick Fix, Eric.
1-800 stick.
Anyways, I mean, Nintendo sold us cardboard. They they turned a Pilates ring into a workout game that attaches your Joy-Cons with a girdle for your thigh that sheaths a Joy-Con. So that being said, I would not hold it. Dude, it wouldn't surprise me if they had magnets and then they came out with an Etch-a-Sketch type peripheral. And, you're drawing on it and tracing on it and stuff. And somehow, I don't know. It's Nintendo. It's like, I just feel like I have this vision of walking into their headquarters and it's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or like Santa's workshop. You know what I mean? So,
I wonder if they got like a weird back room at Nintendo HQ with all these accessories.
Right?
Never came out.
Right?
Vitality sensor, yeah. Got to give a shout out to that whenever you can.
Absolutely. So yeah, short answer, I do think that they're gonna have some weird, clever thing like, hey, you never saw this coming. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Scott, sort of listen. What do you think? Magnets? Do they do it for you?
I'm not like
Lord, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hates magnets.
I'm not like really like familiar with tech and like the stuff like about that. But if they could use it in the Pro controller to kind of give it like how the DualSense controller has like that resistance for certain like games and things you do, if they can do that, that would be awesome because I really do like enjoy that. I really like just it's so small, but it adds to the immersion. Like I don't. It's
Sure,
it does drastically.
That would be sick if they found that way to do that with magnets. Oh
yeah,
that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I would second that. What Alyssa said too. I would love it if they found a way to do that because the DualSense controller, it really is badass. It's so cool. They've done so many different things in games that have brought new experiences out of them. Like I had reviewed Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered. And again, this is a game that came out on PC 30 years ago. I had never gotten to play it because I didn't have a good PC. In fact, I didn't even own one. My cousin didn't have a good PC back in 95. And so I played it on PS5 and it was just so cool. Like the controller legit made the game that much better. And so it's like, if Nintendo would employ this tech, imagine what Nintendo would do with it. So it's an exciting idea. I'd love to see them do something with the magnets outside of just connecting the Joy-Cons. And again, like you mentioned, Nate, with the Hall effect, the Hall controllers, yes, I would love that. But if they don't, third parties will do it. So there will be options for us. And as long as it's not a Mad Catz Joy-Con, I'm all in.
Okay.
Lord.
Now, look, I don't know if this next thing I want to bring up, I don't know if it's going to play correctly, but I really want to hear what Joseph Ferris had to say about his game being a launch game for Switch. Again, I don't know if it's going to play correctly, but we're going to try. Hopefully everyone can hear it.
I love cold plunge. Is Split Fiction going to be a launch game for the Switch too? Ooh! You almost got me there, man. We'll see what happens. Split Fiction's characters.
So very short and sweet. Hopefully everyone heard it. If you didn't hear it, look, he just basically was asking if Split Fiction is going to be a launch game for Switch 2, and he paused for a second and went, "Woo! You almost got me there, man. We'll have to wait and see." And it's like, we'll have to wait.
That's
Come
a
on.
yes.
Come on. Obviously,
Yes.
Split Fiction, which currently is the highest rated game to come out this year, is slated to come to Nintendo Switch 2 on launch, which is awesome. I don't know, launch window. He said launch day, so maybe it's day one.
Dude,
Oh, that'd be sick.
that'd be a perfect. Like I said, I'm playing it right now. Michaela and I are playing it, and I don't want to spoil too much for the review, but the amount of enjoyment we're getting out of this, it's one of those games you play and you kind of have like perma smile the whole time.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow, like this is so good, or like, this is so creative, or this is such a great idea. I like that guy, Joseph Ferris. I think he's
Yeah,
good
he's
for gaming.
great.
Yeah, he's good
His
for
games
gaming,
keep
man.
getting better and better. I don't know if you guys
They
all
do.
played It Takes Two.
Oh, yeah.
Stash, you just talked about you and your lady having permasmile. I
Yeah.
had permasmile playing that game, and it's not often I play a platformer where I'm like, man, this is giving Nintendo a run for their money. That was an instance that, like, just that. What a unique and creative experience requiring two-player. You have to play it two-player, and the way
Yeah.
they're able to level design and puzzle design and platform design based off of the requirement to work together gives the game so much charm and really puts it in its own kind of category of platformers.
Yeah, it's really special, man. Like the things they're able to do in this game are really impressive. How player 2 can see it from a different perspective. Like we're seeing two different perspectives, but they're like intertwining. The story too is really, really good. Like I when I know I want to play a game, just like when I know I want to see a movie, I don't need to see more than the trailer. I don't need to see trailer 2, 3, and 4. I don't want to, actually. Same goes for games. Like, I want to be genuinely surprised when I play this and when I go watch a movie. Like, if you have my buy-in already, I don't need to see more, and I prefer not to. Same goes for this game. I saw, the initial trailer, which was it at the PlayStation Showcase?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw the trailer. I'm like, badass. I'm in.
No, Game Awards, wasn't it?
Yeah, Game Awards. Thank you.
Summer
Awards,
Game.
yeah.
Oh, was it Game Awards or Summer Game? I don't
Game
even remember.
It was
Awards.
Game Awards. Yeah, it
It
was
was Game
really,
Awards because I was there.
it was a very
Yeah.
quick turnaround from announcement to release. I remember seeing that at Game Awards, and they're like, yeah, and it's out, in March. I'm like, oh wow, like
Split Fiction, maybe.
that's soon. But the story in the game is really good. The premise, everything. Point is, this would be a perfect game
Yeah.
for Switch 2. And you know what? It's 50
You already
bucks.
got two controllers too.
It's
Hmm?
it's
We got the
it's
two Joy-Cons.
$49.99.
That's a great point, Alyssa.
The price is great for a launch title. I mean, how many
Yeah.
people would pick this up at launch for 50 bucks, especially if, we do have $70 games. I would say third-party games, 60. There
Right.
very well could be $70 games. I'm prepared for it. My body's ready for it. But if you
Hell
can get
yeah.
a $50 game like Split Fiction, I could see so many people picking that up at launch. Imagine the attach rate for that.
Absolutely. Well, also think about how so many households are multi-Switch households. There's so many people where, whether it's multiple kids or an adult and a kid, both have Switches, maybe two Switch Lites, doing the couch co-op. I mean, this, Alyssa, you mentioned, the Joy-Cons and like tabletop mode is perfect, obviously. But also two Switches, chilling on the
Mhm.
couch and playing, whether it's your spouse, your brother, your sister, your friend. I love couch co-op. I don't get
Yeah.
to do it as much as an adult as I used to in my
Yeah.
teenage years. But whenever I get the chance, anytime I go, I've got a buddy in San Diego County that whenever I go down and visit him, I bring my Switch and, we'll play couch co-op Diablo 3 on our Switches or, something else. But
Yeah, I think it's a
game
great
like
game
that's
for
better.
Switch too. No doubt.
Yeah, I'm just really excited. I haven't played the game yet. I'm going to definitely get it on Switch 2 and hopefully play it with Yulia. It's gonna be a blast. If not, I'll play it with Eric. Well, whatever.
Yeah, right.
No matter, yeah.
Who
Oh
cares?
yeah.
That being said, so we had some news today that I didn't cover in my video because I was doing my video tomorrow, but Stash was so kind to remind me because this might go into the whole hey, Switch 2 is getting launched fairly soon kind of news. There's some data out there, some data on shipments of completed Switch 2 units to the United States, or should we say North America in general. This is from January. Remember, we've been tracking shipping data for a while, getting a lot of updates on the hardware. And a lot of it's just been like, oh, hey, we're just tracking how many are being assembled and sent back to Nintendo. This is now sent from Nintendo to the US. Yes, folks, there are Switch 2s in warehouses in the United States right now. Literally right now. January was 380,000 completed units. It's completed units in box. So, like, we could get box leaks potentially at some point. That could be a thing. Although, will it happen before April 2nd? I don't know. Nintendo seems to have this shit on lock.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll see the box on April 2nd. That being said, yes, they've shipped that many in January. Now, obviously, we're in March, so they will have had more shipments in February. There'll be more shipments this month, next month. So you look at 380,000. Even if you just let me get the calculator out here quick. Even if you take the 380,000, right? You do the 380,000, and let's say this thing comes out in May. All right, you times that by 5. That's already 1.9. Now you guys can't see it, but 1.9 million units ready to go in May, just here in the US. Keep in mind, worldwide, in the first 3 months, they only sold like 2.74 million of Switch, and that was sold out for the entirety of those 3 months. So already having almost 2 million units, this assumes they don't increase the amount per month. They probably will increase the amount per month. They'll have probably at least 2 million units ready to go, possibly day fucking one in the US. That would be Furukawa saying, remember how I said I was going to make sure we had enough that scalpers didn't matter? Yeah, 2 mil US day one. Suck it. That would just be holy shit. And that's just the US. This doesn't count their home country, different European countries that they're shipping stuff off to as well. Like, Nintendo is planning for this thing to be massive. And that's, again, assuming they're not increasing from 380,000. Could be even higher. And again, there's no guarantee they put all 2 million in the warehouses out day one, right? They could spread it out a little bit. But the point is, they are planning to have the stock to meet the demand. Like, if the pre-orders come in and they're like, oh shit, we sold 1.5 million pre-orders. We were going to hold, 700K for restock. We ain't going to hold anymore. We're gonna let people take more pre-orders, and we're just gonna bring more in. We're gonna increase the shipments. Like, yeah, like this is one of those things where they said, Furukawa said they were gonna wait until April 2nd. They wanted to see reactions on April 2nd to determine the final stock for launch. Well, I think this is what they mean. Hey, are we gonna massively increase shipments to the U.S. and other places based on what happens on April 2nd? We open pre-orders on April 2nd and they sell out within seconds, like people think is going to happen. That's going to tell them, shit, we got to get more. And I think they're prepared for that. I think they're actually prepared for that. So I think this is crazy. I think this just shows more that they're releasing this soon. Right? If you think about it, just getting to May is 2 million units, basically. Like, they're not going to sit on 2 million units and then have 5 million, 6 million in a warehouse, losing them money on storage fees until September. Like, and by the way, when we say in warehouses, they're Nintendo's warehouses. I don't think they've sent these to retail warehouses. Obviously, that's when the leaks happen, is when they hit the retail warehouses. But they're in Nintendo's own warehouses here. So yeah, man, hell yeah, dude, hell yeah. So that's like the biggest news of the day right there.
It's big news. That's a huge deal. Well, like, when I usually Twitter gives me the option to press translate and it'll do it for me, but it didn't. Sometimes it doesn't on post. So
yeah,
all of Necrophilippe's posts, if it doesn't give me the option, I just manually, will translate it real quick. And I was reading, I'm like, holy shit. Like I got to repost this and translate it for everybody in case people don't read it because it's in another language and they just pass by it. I'm like, I got to tell people like, hey, this is a big deal.
But by the way, so I opened up his article on it. I figured that's where this data came from. So this came from the shipping data that they have in from Poseidon in Vietnam. This is where we've been getting a lot of the shipping data from. So this is just from there. This wouldn't count if they had units shipped from any other place to the US.
Which, yeah. So
Yeah.
you would presume that it's shipping from other warehouses too.
Yeah. Probably.
Or manufacturing plants,
Other
right?
manufacturing plants, yeah.
Which,
There's also-
how many are there? 4?
Well, they're manufacturing. They are assembling in 4 different countries right now. So now, obviously, the China one's probably going to not be going to the U.S. because of the tariffs. Right now, Vietnam, there's no tariffs in place yet there. At least additional tariffs over what was already in place. So, and by the way, guys, when Furukawa mentioned, I want to let you guys know this. Furukawa said that like he wasn't worried about the tariffs at the last financial briefing, which by the way was after these units came over. By the way, these units are already in the U.S. They can't get tariffed now. They're here. Just pointing that out. They're already here. So like these ones can't get tariffed. Could future ones, sure, but right now Vietnam is not the current target of tariffs. So, well, that could change. But this is why Nintendo is assembling in 4 different countries. Only one of the countries they're assembling in deals with tariffs. That's China. But that's they'll just send those units to other places of the world, right? So, like Japan will probably be solely provided from China, right? Because China is where like the most manufacturing happens. So that they'll basically use China to provide for the rest of the world. These other 3 countries will just make that the North America U.S. supply. So that's what I'm saying. Like 383,000 just from Vietnam. What's coming from the other 2 countries?
It makes you think that there's a good chance there's 1 million units here.
If there isn't, there will be this month.
Yeah, which is huge. And that lines up with so many things. I mean, I still have an email conversation going with BenQ because, again, I just posted the video yesterday. And we still have communication going on back and forth about like future stuff and about putting an insert into one of my review videos. And I said, look, right now on my docket for Switch, it's mainly indie stuff, which isn't going to get a huge amount of views compared to like AAA outings. And I said, I have Assassin's Creed Shadows coming up, which is a big AAA game. I said, it's also going to be probably a pretty volatile release as well, because there's going to be a lot of mixed opinions on that, and there'll probably be people attacking me in the comments, and that's fine, right? Like that's literally
that's every day for me, man.
That's internet life. It is what it is, yeah. But I'm gonna cover it. I'm not gonna like back away from it. I think it's good to cover games like this. So I said, there's that. I'm like, if you want to touch that, it's up to you, or I could feature it in like a Switch 2 accessory video, which
hell yeah.
And I'm just trying to see if I can get any more information out of them on a possible release date. So I sent that email earlier today. Obviously, if I do get anything cool, I'll tell you guys, like any useful info. But this is. I feel like everything's just right around the corner, and also. What was it? The Oblivion remake? You guys heard about that, right? And that's rumored for April. Is that correct?
I don't know when it's
Based on
rumored
the rumor?
for, but I'm aware of the rumor of the remake.
The only reason I bring it up though also is because you would almost immediately ask if lightning can strike twice there. Skyrim. Switch launch title. Oh, can we get Oblivion again? Can we get Oblivion for Switch 2? Is that a Switch 2 game?
I hope so.
Another Elder Scrolls? I mean,
I like
Yeah, I can see
Oblivion.
it too.
I actually like it more than Skyrim. I know I'm in the minority, but I like the side quest better. So I'd love to have that on Nintendo's newest hybrid extravaganza.
I love Skyrim, so I'd love to give it a try.
Yeah,
Sure.
and what if they put Link in it too? And they had
Yeah.
some, Nintendo flair. Hmon in chat said that the rumor is saying it's said to be before June.
Mm.
Before June.
May 15th,
May
Oblivion.
15th, baby. But I could see Oblivion hitting Switch too. Why wouldn't it? Why would you not want to make more money?
Because you don't think
If that's your reason for existence as a company is to make
Yeah.
money.
because you don't think the money's going to be made. I don't really know. But anyways, this is all just really, really exciting stuff. We're gonna jump over to the Q&A here just for time's sake. I got a few that didn't get marked, so I apologize.
sorry.
But we will. I'll take blame for it. I had to step away in the middle of the show.
I didn't think about it.
But it's cool. I'll get it out here. So we had Taker610 come in here and said 3 effing weeks away, baby. Switch 2. Let's effing go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, every week that goes by, baby. Just think Wednesday next week, 2 weeks away. Woo!
Right.
It's exciting. Think about it. You can actually do it by podcast because it's on a Wednesday. So just count down with us, guys. Count down with us every Wednesday. It's gonna be great. Again, more people excited. Just 3 weeks left, baby. Let's go. It's all excited.
Oh, yeah.
Excited to see Eric.
It's the
take down
calm
the
before the
world's
storm.
hottest beef jerky. Eric's taking down the world's hottest beef jerky.
That
Whoa.
may cause pain there and there.
Yep.
there.
Wait.
Yep.
I love how it shows the genital region. It says pain with an arrow pointing to the genitals.
For pain.
That's the best
Oh my
part.
god.
Erica Spice Lord. This will probably be nothing for him. Oh yeah, getting it open was a pain. That's why the scissors
Okay.
are out. Yeah,
That's what I was kinda wondering
I
about
struggle with it too. Just came to me the April 2nd direct is the day after April Fools. What kind of trolls are we going to get on April 1st? Hold me.
Right.
Scared. Yeah, lots of jokes are going to be that. No, Nintendo dropped direct today. Yeah,
That's a good point. I'm glad Kartkin brought that up. Be prepared for that.
yeah, it's gonna happen. Karkon then came back. Said biggest video game merit, easy to make friends. There you go. There you go. Community.
Yeah.
Cody Dews wanted us to do the switch to Electric Boogaloo. There you go. Demonic Brawler. Hard to believe we got Madden, but Switch did not. Well, to be fair, the Madden on Wii wasn't good.
Yeah, it was
What are you
that
talking about?
it was
What are
all
you
play.
talking about?
You remember that? That was their gimmick. It's called all play. And
Yeah.
it's literally on the box for like all the EA sports games. Yeah, that was not good.
Just going full screen for this reaction. He's eating both pieces. He's really trying to say you're a bitch
That's-
when I did this on the stream the other day.
No,
Is that
that's
gonna burn your
cheating.
lips, Eric?
No.
Okay.
You
I
want a
heard
third
2
piece
at once
later?
balances it out.
I ain't gonna eat it. He's just getting his dinner in. He's gonna eat the third piece. That's awesome. See, Eric's got to maintain his Spice Lord title. I did something spicy he hasn't done, so he's got to do it and do it bigger.
This is for me for not reading the damn notes.
Not reading the damn up to self punishment. Even though it's not much of a punishment for you.
He purposely didn't read the notes so he could eat the jerky tonight.
Damn straight.
Well, I mean, he had it
Sick-
beforehand. He
you
knew.
sick son
He
of
knew.
a bitch.
He do. All right. Free Metroid Hat said, did a message saying EA Sports, it's in the game. Nah, Wii Sports is in the game. Hell yeah. No, Wii Sports is the game. Oh, that's what it should be right there. A resident troll came in and said, I'm new here. Take it easy, Dad. Just a troll. Hope you're enjoying Applebee's, buddy. Demonic Brawler always reminding us to bring back NFL Blitz and NBA Jam. Have to.
Oh yeah,
Every week.
it's happening.
Every week. It'll
been
be
hearing
a
things.
week if we don't get reminded of this every week. Demonic Brawler then also did a super chat. Keep it on screen here. He said Heart Gold and Soul Silver is Pokemon goated. Just wanted that noted out there. Then he said OG Resident Evil on DS was good. And then Taker610 came in here and said, see here, he said, Stash the Trendsetter That's right.
Honestly, 3 pieces.
It got
It's
you.
warm.
Wait. Whoa, it got him.
It is warm.
It just took 3.
Yeah.
1, 3. Ooh, Eric's sweating. I haven't seen him sweat in a while.
He said
So
a
to
key
me.
word. He said it's warm.
Yeah, warm, not hot.
Warm. Yeah,
It's warm.
It's warm.
You better do the
It's
do,
warm.
bro.
Honestly, I was hoping for a better flavor. Nate gave me a hope for better flavor.
It was
ruined it. The heat always ruins it when it's Reaper. I haven't had anything Reaper that actually has good flavor. But it's got some teriyaki. I can it did. It's whatever. Let's see. Reggie Fils-Aimé translated from French is beloved son, says Taker 610. Let's see here. Michael Lorenz. I didn't get this one. So when do you think we will get a remake of Ocarina of Time? Do you think they will add content to it?
I saw this question come in, and yes, I do think we'll have content added to it. Yeah, I think we talked about this one of the first podcasts. I really believe we'll get the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment, in that they're going to add to the game. They're not going to take from it. They're going to add a lot of lore, tons of side quests, more area. I would expect more dungeons to be added. I would. I think if we do this again, we're going to get at least one more dungeon. But I think there's just going to be a lot more to do. It's going to be a way more fleshed out Hyrule. This is the remake to end all remakes, is my hope. And as far as when we're going to get it, I truly do think there's a good chance that if we're getting a Zelda remake, which again, logically, it makes the most sense that we'd be getting a remake next, that it would be Ocarina of Time. And then again, I always try and think of what's this story going to be in the movie? Of all the Zelda games, like if you wanted to pull from one of the Zelda game stories, I think this would be a great one to do with young Link and adult Link, and obviously the time travel aspect of it, the sages. I think this would be a really good story to pull from. It's your highest rated video game, not Zelda game. It's literally it's the highest rated game of all time, period, across all consoles. So you'd think maybe that would be the one that you'd want to link up with, pun intended, right? I mean, what better one to link up with than the best game of all time as far as the movie's concerned? And if you're going to do that, you got to introduce it to the newcomers, all the new kids playing Zelda. This is a great time to introduce it on Switch 2. All the old heads will go out and buy a Switch 2 that were on the fence. If Ocarina of Time remakes there, like, this would please so many people. So I could see it coming out for Zelda's 40th, which again, that's next year. And it just makes sense.
I think I've been thinking the same thing, and I also think like even we could see it at the Switch 2 Direct, like as a Zelda thing. Like maybe we won't see the next 3D one, but they'll be like, oh, and then this is coming next year.
Oh, it'd be sick if they tease it, but they don't tell you what it is, and then we just see Sheik pop on the screen, and we're like,
or the first few notes with the title screen, and you just see the hoofs go, and then it's just Ocarina of Time 2020.
Yep.
I think this is something that's going to happen at some point. However, I'm a little bit less optimistic in that I think it'll be announced in 2026. I think it's going to be, I think it would make sense by September of next year as part of hey, it's Zelda's 40th anniversary. One of the most iconic games in the series is being reimagined for Switch 2. We get that intro, that startup music. You hear the piano kick in. You hear the hooves. It shows Link riding across Hyrule. You get the logo, and that's it. It's a teaser. But I do think it will be expanded on. Obviously, I think the world will obviously be bigger. I think the big thing though is expanding the narrative a little bit, fleshing out the narrative a little bit more. And then, that game has such iconic bosses as well as dungeons.
Yeah.
And I'd really love to see some of those really iconic and memorable boss fights kind of reimagined, a little bit more multi-phase, and just a little, keep the core element of their weaknesses with the items that you acquire in the pertaining dungeons, but kind of elevate the experience to just make it a little bit more grand and epic.
It's going to happen. I don't know when. I'm just laughing because for those listening to the audio version, the Spice Lord has been defeated. He's never left after eating spicy food. I don't think if it was just getting milk, he'd be back at this point. I think he's in the bathroom.
Yeah, he's having trouble. I heard a brief before your mic mute. And
he's back. He's back.
I felt bad because I was laughing while Stash was talking, but all I could hear was Eric.
I was trying to listen
into the microphone.
I knew why you guys were laughing.
Yeah, I just heard.
I was listening. I was trying.
His sweatshirt is off. He's back. He's breathing. He's got milk. Got milk, buddy?
Yeah.
Is your body ready now?
I mean,
speaking of milk,
three is not a good idea.
Well, for most people, one's not a good idea.
His hand's shaking. He's like this with the milk's just.
So
my hand always shakes.
So as he drinks from a pint glass over there, good time to remind everyone we launched a brand new pint.
Hell yeah!
Look at that! Look at that Triforce of the podcast, baby. We'll go ahead and drop that link. Go ahead and drop that link in the chat for you guys. If you want to check out the new pint glass, $25 US. It's got obviously the Triforce of the cast right there. Eric falls under the Nintendo Prime. Looking for these wonder. Where's Eric? He's part of Nintendo Prime. And then as we go over here, the Nintenbyte Podcast logo on the other side, baby. Oh, we also have this little new T-shirt as well, a little Triforce T-shirt. If you guys want to check out that stuff, some other merch as well. Just wanted to give a quick shout out. Well, Eric's sitting there pounding down the pint glass. Whew. Remind you guys that we have a new pint glass. I don't even have it yet. I'm going to be picking one up myself. So putting that order in tonight.
That's awesome.
Hey, let me ask you guys, do you think that we see something Zelda on April 2nd? Because
yes,
I think you have to, because you have all these millions now of Zelda fans. You look at all the millions of copies that sold, and if you don't tell them a new Zelda is coming, I'm sorry, but the average consumer will be like, oh, I guess they're not making Zelda anymore. They'll come to a really stupid conclusion.
Riots in the street.
I'm sorry, but they will. You have to tell them it's coming.
I mean, you guys are dumb. They already said it was coming 2 years ago. What do we do?
Yeah, but just, the average consumer will be like, oh, I guess Zelda may not have done very well. I liked it. you have to show them something.
Yeah, they don't know Tears of the Kingdom did 20 million.
They have no idea.
They literally don't, because they don't care about the news. Taker 610 says that the Asia Aonuma GBC. Okay, buddy.
Also for people wondering, no, I did not wipe my eyes with the glove that I ate the thing with. My black sweatshirt. I am not that dumb.
Yeah, if he was that dumb, he still wouldn't be back in this room.
No, God no.
He'd be up there flushing his eyes like crazy.
Yeah, no. I thought for a second I was going to hurl, but I did not.
Yeah, I heard a very brief whimper after you walked away. I was like, he's going to be
I think the Spice Lord has been defeated because he actually had to get up and leave the room.
I did.
Oh, man.
And that's never happened before outside of the stale chip.
Yeah.
But I'll give you that. I'll say it's the staleness that was the problem, not the spice.
Yeah, empty stomach, too.
Your word choice brought me back. Every time I hear the word hurl,
the heat dies pretty quick. With
what do you guys think of?
I'm pretty well gone now.
Yeah, the heat dies pretty fast with it.
Sorry, Stash, what were you saying?
What does everybody think of whenever they hear someone say the word hurl? Like, I'm going to hurl. What movie?
Oh, movie-wise. Oh, fuck.
You know what it is, right?
No, but I can't. It's like at the tip of my... I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I have no idea.
Because it's the only time I hear it. And I hear, let me give you a hint. I hear it at least once a year in December. It's a December movie. Christmas movie.
Don't do this to me, Stash. Don't do this to me.
Is it Home Alone?
Yes. Buzz.
It is. There
Buzz.
Yeah.
Remember when he eats all the cheese pizza and he tells Kevin, like, I think I'm going to hurl?
They
Yeah,
want
right.
her
Anytime, I'm like,
anytime. Yep.
Yeah.
I hate
I don't
when
know
thought-
why that's like burned
Yeah.
in my brain.
Michael Lorenzo, I'd like to know what you like to see in a new 3D Zelda game. Also, would you like to see them go in a different land or stay in Hyrule? Let's send this to the mega Zelda fan of the show, Scott or Alyssa. What are we thinking here?
I'd actually really like it if they went to like a whole different place. Like not even like revisited like Termina, Labrina, Holodrum, like total like new. This is outside of Hyrule. And then maybe even have like some kind of way to like connect it to Hyrule somehow. I don't know. Or like have it be Hyrule, but then have some like maybe not open worlds, but maybe like other like have one center world and then maybe some like open zone areas where you go further, expand it even more. But as far as like seeing something new like in the next one, I really want them to bring back underwater exploration. I think in a 3D space it could be really awesome. Like if you found like underwater ruins like like Atlantis down there, something like that, like crazy
Absolutely.
civilization.
That'd be cool. Horizon does a good job with that.
I heard that. I have to
yeah.
play the second one still.
Very good. The graphics are insane, but they do a really good job with underwater exploration. Because I know some people are like,
Yeah.
I don't know how much time I want to spend in the water. Because some games make it a task to be underwater, and also you're gonna croak, so they don't give you like enough time to explore it. But games like Horizon allow you to. So I would like to see Zelda do that. Actually, you know what I want to see? I want to see Light and Dark World for 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me that, or give me
I love that.
time traveling aspect. But
Okay.
Light and Dark World would be really cool.
Mine's a easy two-parter. If my ultimate thing that I would love to see is the sequel we never got, and that was that idea of a sequel to Wind Waker where the ocean is dried up and you're seeing the Hyrule that revealed, and all the land, that everything that was under the ocean. I think the concept of that's really cool. But for me, the first thing that I always get super hyped about when it comes to a new mainline Zelda game is the fact that they always do, unless there's a specific sequel like Tears of the Kingdom, it's always a brand new art style. I always get hyped. I always like, oh, what's the new art style going to look like?
Sure.
I would love them to do something like Okami, where I know they had some impressionist kind of painterly stuff in Skyward Sword, but Okami with like where you really see like the ink and the colors and the brush strokes, something cool like that. That's just so beautiful. Hell yeah. I have that same one. So beautiful.
Nice.
I love it. But yeah, cool art style. That's what I want.
Yeah, for sure.
Boo Mini comes in here and says, if they remake Ocarina of Time, will they add more dungeons? I think one.
Yeah, I think one is very safe. And I don't know why. Like, I'd like more. I would love more. But I feel like there's a good chance we get one.
They could turn the ice cavern into a dungeon, no problem.
Yeah.
They could like reimagine that into a full ice dungeon.
Or they could just add a whole new section to the map and give me a dungeon.
I would love that.
That's what I would like. Like, like when they did like Link's Awakening DX, they gave us the color dungeon, right? So like,
Sure.
I would like to see them just do one. Will they do any at all? I mean, like just getting the remake in general is already like insane.
A dream.
But hey, if you're gonna do the remake, just that one little extra bit of content, right? Come on, optional even, it's fine. I don't care. You don't have to give me an item in the dungeon. I don't give a shit. Just give me a dungeon. Something. We'll see. Bama Hut, shout out to him. He gifted 5 members earlier to the show. Thank you so much, Bama, for the support. Appreciate you, man. Michael Lorenz says, for the streak. That's right. We hit the streak. Does my button come through for you guys? I take, but we're going streaking! Yes! Love it. Love it. Great show. The hater came back for a moment. Said, "Did you enjoy banning his account, Stash? Did you have fun hitting the button?"
Yeah, you know what? I will tell you this. This is the first time I've ever had to use it. So I guess pat yourself on the back for that if you like. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was being very.
What kind of comments
was...
were you put in there? That was, let me just say that it was very, I guess you could say unprofessional, classless. Don't do that, man. Don't come in my chat and do that shit. What is wrong
That's
with
not-
you?
That's
This
not
bro-
normal for the
I-
podcast, is it? Because I feel like all the times,
Well, here's
before I was a co-host, all the times I've never seen it.
I have this person who trolls and hates my content and says a lot of really gross and disgusting stuff, and they keep making new accounts.
That's what they did. I
So, like,
kept
now
having to ban
you're-
them all.
And the problem is you're associated with me now, so now they're going to keep popping up every Wednesday in your show.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool because you know what? I got backup now because I figured out while we were doing this how to assign mods.
There you go. Yeah.
So
There you go.
Someone else take care of that hammer every Wednesday.
yeah, so thank you to that. But dude, that was crazy. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to present a PowerPoint and I'm trying to figure out how to ban somebody at the same time.
Yeah, this person, they're relentless every stream. Karkun said, for Eric, you did it, man.
Did I?
Did I? Are you disappointed in yourself having to walk away?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
Maybe try 2 next time, not 3.
What?
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
and there. But here's the Spice Lord.
Yeah.
Handle it.
I mean, I'm fine now.
Well, yeah, I know. It doesn't last very long. It literally dies. So I had a little comeback the next day in the stomach, but it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I just gotta stop doing spicy stuff on empty stomachs.
Well, I don't know
That's
why. Okay,
pretty
you were on
much
an
it.
empty stomach. Why did you do it?
Oh, cuz.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
Eat a loaf of bread prior.
Yes. Even the Spice Lord knows don't do it on an empty stomach, but he thinks he's so. This is what happens. He flew too close to the sun, everyone. He didn't learn from Icarus.
Yep.
Flew too close to the sun. All right, guys.
Wings got clipped.
Let's go around the room, let people know who we are, what we got going on, and get the hell out of here. Eric.
Yep, I'm here.
There you go. Every
That's
Wednesday.
Pretty much it.
Sky Sword Alyssa.
I'm here on YouTube. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Playing
Oh, yeah.
the Zelda for a lot of those streams. Game Bird Classic.
I'm here every Wednesday. 3rd, 4th greatest co-host. We don't know how many co-hosts we have on this show, but we'll figure it out. And check it out. I see Eric's got his logo. Nate's got his logo. I don't know what's going on with Stash Man today. Rebel without a cause over there.
I had
But-
to rep Twilight today.
Come on.
There, fair enough. But I don't know if you guys know this. Before I had this shirt, I was a complete loser. And people used to call me names like Dunce and Dillhole. But now everything's changed. It saved my marriage. My kids don't hate me anymore. So many other things. And I want you guys to know I'm actually working on a commercial for the merch store and for these cool shirts. I meant for it to be ready this week. Unfortunately, creativity sometimes demands time. And I'm an artist and I need time to work. So hopefully it should be ready by next Wednesday. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it with all of you.
All right.
And you can find me here on YouTube at Game Bird.
Yeah, forget the channel.
Yeah.
Just worry about
Bitchin',
we're running here next week's show.
bitchin' Nintendo content. Check me out. I love you guys.
Awesome. Thunderstash.
Yeah, so you guys can find me on YouTube at Thunderstash Gaming. What I'm working on right now, tomorrow I already have a video scheduled of my first impressions for the first Berserker Kazan. And if you like Souls games or action RPGs, you're going to want to check that one out. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't go into that game with much expectations, so you have to check that out. I will be reviewing the game as well. I'm getting an early review code for that. So that's cool. Outside of that, working on my review for Beyond the Ice Palace 2. Nice little Metroidvania game. I completed that yesterday. I have a retro review coming. And again, I completed that a couple of days ago, so I'm going to get on that and get that done soon. And I think that's everything. Go check out my video for the BenQ GR10 dock. I actually show a lot of unique ways to use this, and you'll probably see some games on there that maybe you haven't seen before in action. I don't name the games for good reason, but but you know what they are when you see them. And I have a lot of videos coming out. I have a lot going on, a lot of game stuff. It's super busy with work. So if
Oh,
it
yeah.
seems like I'm going a million miles a second, it's because I am.
It's
My
all right.
body's ready. It's caffeinated. I'm ready to roll.
Hell
I'm ready
yeah.
for Switch 2.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, you guys know what's up. I'm Nintendo Prime. Do daily news videos, lots of it on Switch 2 because, like, what else really matters right now? Xenoblade does matter. I want to be clear for those out there. Xenoblade next week matters. It just doesn't matter for me. But yeah, it's gonna be an awesome time. I already kind of teased during this live show what my video tomorrow is going to probably be about. So there's that. And I just want to note, I just noticed, and it took me all stream to notice, I'm the only one bringing the color to the show. I guess that's just who I am. I bring the flair. I bring the style to the show. Everyone's the black t-shirt.
Whoa. I've brought a lot of style to this show, first off. I want to say.
He's
got the
The jackets.
The jacket.
I've brought the sexy button downs. I've flipped the hair.
Look, ever since
But I'm excited to get some more. I had to make sure I liked it
Get some
first.
more.
If I'm gonna make a commercial for this thing, I need to make sure I like it. And guess what? This shirt is great. Before I had this shirt, people used to call me a loser.
Here we go.
My marriage was in jeopardy. My kids used to hate me. But that's all changed. I'm sorry, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate about this shirt.
Look, so am I. That's what I was saying. When I had to wear the pink one because my whole life I was told real men wear pink. All right. I'm not 40 yet, but maybe I'm
He's a man now.
a man now.
You
I
guys
got my
heard it
pink
here.
shirt. I literally only have one pink shirt. I have one salmon shirt that's a button up, but
Salmon.
this is not salmon. This is pink.
Made
Okay,
with real
real men
salmon
wear-
fiber.
Anyways,
Made
I
from-
actually have
made
lots
from
of-
actual salmon too.
I do have the shirt in black, of course, but I have lots of different colors because you know what? I figure someone's got to represent color on the show. Look, you guys are all in black and white. I'm in color, full color over here.
This is colorful box art. Look.
And this is the gray shirt, so I'm rocking like a monochrome, you know, keeping it monochrome.
Yeah, and look, it's got sort of Alyssa can't help that she lost her arm and got replaced with Raru's. You know what happens? All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can check out the podcast everywhere podcasts are heard for the audio version. And we have the podcast clips channel as well that has been getting clips at least consistently. Not quite every day, but fairly consistently. We've been getting clips up over there. So go check that out. We'll have a new clip dropping tomorrow. You guys are awesome and epic and amazing. Thank you all for your support. And we'll catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Later.